Darling, I want you to listen. I stayed up all night so I can get this thing right. And I don't think there's anything missing, 'cause a person like you made it easy to do. I've waited for so long.
I do a lot of weed, love my suppliers. Keep it, fuck the blood out my supplier. Man, I'm bigger than life. I do it magnum. About these dope bitches, I'm doing having them. Dre Bogart, he shove and he push. You start a war for nothing like G.W. Bush. We check. The biggest things is the TV invention. Dope is so long, a big shot to show off. Plus I'm a big pimp, I get toe off. I could get job, she need a good show. Still BJs to her mouth get raw. I'm from the California coast, beaches and bridges. It's a cot get ghost. I'm only sleeping with bitches. I got a cool nut, sitting on wires. I'm Vogues, bitch, not Michelin tires. Can't control my desires. I buy from Nordstrom, it's not Fred Myers. I do a lot of weed, love my suppliers. Keep it, fuck the blood out my supplier. Man, I'm bigger than life. I do it magnum. About these dope bitches, I'm doing having them. Dre Bogart, he shove and he push. You start a war for nothing like G.W. Bush. We be loving the kush, but only in the backwood. Around the backwood, we ain't all that good. I'm from the streets where most need heat, but I slice a nigga up like roast beef meat. I can bust you a rap, but anything else, not my job. I'll pay your cat back, but anything else, not my job. I get you for less, but anything else, not my job. I'll make you slap, but anything else, not my job. Bitch gon' ask me to come with her to the grocery shop. I told her straight up like this, no sorry, bye. That's not my job. I don't do that. But pimp slash rapper. I thought you knew that. And we don't do that. Should I serve him the news and let him know he's gonna be walking in some brand new shoes? Ooh, you a fool. Gotta watch thyself. One bar, stop thyself. Sometimes I'm not myself. I'm another man. A rock star in another band. Plus, I'm the man with the plan in the sand. Soon, we all playing in sand. Cause to my estimations, and calculations, and all the money I made off the rompulation, I'm gonna get as many digits as on my license plate and shut up some of these bitches, bitch. I can't wait. I can bust you a rap, but anything else, not my job. I'll pay your cat back, but anything else, not my job. I'll get you for racks, but anything else, not my job. I'll make you a slap, but anything else, it's not my job. When I dip, they trip off with fro dressed in. Plus, I got a mouth full of girl's best friend. I'm a back to the future, new game kind of nigga. Y'all lanes is playing, drinking the same kind of liquor, with the same kind of clothes, fucking the same kind of hoes. And you bedrock pimping, me and your game's kind of old. And you don't want it with me. I'll bother ya. So get lost, pal, before I clobber ya. Golden gloves, I give you a new look with a stiff left and a sharp right hook. Niggas no snitches, they ride and they go with them. It's all gravy, as long as they don't tell on them. Me and my team, see, we a machine. You fuck with my man, and I'ma have to intervene. I'm a sport coat and a Sancho, always looking out for Benny Blanco.
All right, welcome to the Revolutionary Agenda. I'm your host, Seduction Doll. It's been a minute. Go ahead and tell you what I've been up to for a quick second before I introduce our guest. Um, I've been I had COVID. I've been dealing with the campaign. Um, Everything that you could possibly think of, I've been up to. Um, and just kind of like every day, the news changes, something happens, and I'm kind of like I build my little queue, stuff I want to talk about. Some crazy ass shit happens, and here we are. You know what I mean? Jesse wanted me to do the RVA today, so here we are. I'm gonna go ahead and introduce our guest. We got Jesse Paris, running for mayor in the city of Denver, um, aka Chan Kruma from Frontline Black News, also co-host stuff. And we got Shabaka Sankori for Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, which we just got done over there, where a regular contributor and producer of wearing multiple hats, family, multiple hats. Go ahead and welcome the gentleman in, and go ahead and open up, guys.
Okay, greetings. Y'all got to bear with me. I got something in my throat. Um, yes, as Lady Chase stated, I'm Shane Kruma, co-executive producer of Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, also a producer of Frontline Black News, and a regular contributor here at the Revolutionary Agenda. And I am running for mayor of Denver, Colorado. The election is April 4th, 2023. Go to www.jessedenvermayor.com. Support the campaign. Lady Che did the website. It's dope. So check it out.
Chewbacca.
Uh, yeah. Greetings, folks. This is Shabaka Sankori right here. I'm the co-executive producer of Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced on Blog Talk. Definitely Google some of our past episodes. Google tonight's episode tonight. Appreciate Seduction Doll having me here, as a West Coast correspondent here for the Revolutionary Agenda as well, too. And also, too, I'm the West Coast correspondent for Frontline Black News.
You're welcome.
Drop my glasses. Sorry about that. All right. Welcome to Lens Free Spectacles, family. All right. So tonight we're going to talk about on this podcast. We're going to talk about the virus situation. We're going to talk about we're going to do a little context. We talk about what's going on in the city of Denver. Everybody's getting hit with these immigrants But I'm gonna play. We're gonna do a lot of just watch and see. So, I built up a little something something, so we can take a look at it. Um, and let me make sure. Okay, I got the copyright up. Cool, cool, cool. Let me make sure I take this down right here. Hold on 1 second, Felly. Um, give me a second to get my bearings. Been a kind of a while since I did my thing. Like I said, we're busy. So it's tough running this campaign and yeah, try to keep up with it. Oops, let me back that up. Why am I doing it like you do it? I know better than that.
Mhm.
My bad, my bad. Creative genius over here. I did like I did like if Jesse was here. I know how to do it. Bam. All right, Bradley. I made up a little cue so we could explore this together. Don't worry about this broad. I will talk about this broad later on after the fellas leave. Let's see. We go all the way to the top. Okay. Whoa. Wait. Let's start with All right, we'll start right here. Wait. We'll start with Fox News. I kind of dig Fox News, man. That for some reason lately. All right, can you guys see it?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we can see it.
State could stop the search directly. Is that possible? That's what we asked Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick
This is
on
a
our show
drone?
yesterday.
The bill that you plan crafting, does that empower Texas DPS or Texas Rangers to deport illegal immigrants?
So let us write the bill, but let me assure you this, that we will write strong legislation that makes sure there's no question that we have a right to protect our citizens.
To
We
include
already believe that we
deportation?
do.
To include deportation? That I mean,
Guys, let me write a bill first. Let's not write it here, okay, on the air on Saturday morning.
Oh, so you can't commit
Here
to
to
that.
break down what can legally be done is former acting DHS Deputy Secretary Ken Cuccinelli. Ken, thanks for being here. So we pressed the Lieutenant Governor, and in the state of Texas, Lieutenant Governor is very powerful,
Lieutenant Governor.
even more so than the governor. And didn't want to answer it for the most part. And then he eventually said, we're writing a bill that will take up to 3 months to write when the legislature is back in session. What should that bill look like? And that authority, I mean, questions here.
Yeah, so the authority to remove deport is an immigration, but Texas has the constitutional authority
why they can't
under the very last part of Article 1, Section 10, Paragraph 3, that when it's actually invaded, it can exercise war powers. And nobody's talking about tanks and planes. We're literally just talking about a state version of Title 42. That's what it looks like operationally. But it's based on Texas's constitutional power to defend itself. They do not need to pass a bill. The governor has this authority to declare the invasion and to deploy Texas resources, National Guard, their DPS, and so forth, to do that. And that include the key power is the ability to remove people without being in the immigration back to the border and put them straight across the border. And while that's politically challenging, the authority exists in the Constitution.
Question: why was it politically here, but it wasn't politically challenging for Haiti? They get them on planes fast.
The ability to protect them to the federal government, and here we have a federal government.
Immigration is
contrary to popular belief, Black family, of us all about the motherfucking Haitians. They let the Haitians go back. They were putting them on planes like 3, 4 a day, 5 a day, stuffing them all to the brim.
Right.
You know what I mean? They couldn't get Haiti out of here enough. You know what I mean? They had them like looking like they were getting chased down by slavers and shit. You know what I mean? And these motherfuckers just
or
casual.
slave
Look how
patrols.
casual. Yeah, they had whips and everything. Motherfuckers trying to get their babies and shit. It was all over the motherfucking news. They couldn't get them out quick enough. The dark the faster you had to get the fuck out of here. But now look at this shit. I like adamantly fucking upset about this. It's scary.
Protect especially the states invasion and an over and air carry she
Yes.
and again
require legislation, which means
Because
you don't have to wait the 3 months. And the other question would be, why have they waited thus far then? Is it just what you kind of mentioned? The politics are really tough? I mean, is that it?
Because I wonder if Jorge crossed back over.
Yes, because they're screaming from the rooftops. They're saying the word invasion. In fact, the lieutenant governor said it multiple times on our program yesterday. Why not make that declaration? Why have they waited?
Yeah. Right.
Well, I think they wanted to see if Lone Star would do the job, and it hasn't. I mean, it has helped. They've gotten more drug seizures, but with the sheer size of drug seizures going on at the border, ask your local cops, what's the street price of fentanyl? What's happened to it in the last 2 years? Heroin. Every hard drug comes over that southern border, and the prices have plummeted. That means the supply, the cartels are getting them in here as easy as they would like.
This little surface
and so Lone Star is working. The numbers of people crossing the Texas border, we'll just zero in on Texas because that's what we're talking about, has gone up, not down. So if the ultimate measure is stopping the invasion, so here they are a year and a half later, but they are what, a month and a half from an election. It would probably look rather political.
Yeah, he's sensitive.
But that doesn't mean they shouldn't do it. On the other hand, you have Carrie Lake, who's being very open in Arizona, saying, look, if you elect me, appreciate forthrightness, and it is an option that governors have. If they want to write legislation on something, they might do a public health order, order, and an attempt to go that route. Frankly, as you know, of this problem themselves. And by the way, other
the white and Hispanic numbers are gonna go way the fuck up, right? Right? If this massively go up, all of a sudden there's gonna be all this breeding and stuff going on, right? Because keep in mind that the breeding count was a little low, really low. Now you got all this influx of fertility coming on in here too. So the baby count's about to shoot right up. You know what I mean? For all these Hispanic and anybody who's gonna mark the white box on the thing, you know what I mean? Because that's probably what the plan was. I mean, surely all these governors knew. You know what I mean? That's why they're letting this happen.
Governors, DeSantis, Ricketts in Nebraska, other governors, Nome, have said, we'll send people. That's Warren Zevon all over again. We'll send lawyers, guns, and money. But they'll send people to be deputized to the Texas chain of command to give them the manpower to pull this off.
Just there's a limit to how much
vigilantes
you can say invaded and talk about, as you're saying, not useful at your disposal to actually make it happen. Ken Cuccinelli,
that's right.
Thanks for breaking.
They got over like 9 million, 10 million in here. Two of those are right over here. Like I'm just kidding. Like a good 2,000 something are over here in Denver as of last night. That's what they say. But this has been going on for 4 months.
Immigrants that you guys got in Denver?
Yeah, it's over 1,000.
Easily, yeah.
Okay, I got a question.
They don't
okay, where are they being housed at? Okay, so where are they being housed for the snowfall that's getting ready to hit you guys?
In the shelters.
I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that in a few. Yeah, they're being sheltered.
Okay.
I got it right here. Yeah, so we could all talk about
passing the federal government so they could enforce the border. Possible. Patrick on our show yesterday.
The bill that you plan.
Right now, that's 3 months away, so let us write the bill. But let me assure you this, that we will write strong.
Wrong ones. My bad.
Stuck between competing immigration policies and squarely in the middle of a humanitarian crisis, border communities try to balance the needs of residents and of migrants coming to the United States. Last night, the Supreme Court blocked a change that was expected to release a new surge of migration starting tomorrow. Late today, the Biden administration asked the court to end asylum restrictions, but not until sometime after Christmas. William Brangham has more about how one border city is prepared.
But after Christmas.
In normal times, asylum seekers who make it to the U.S. border are entitled to a hearing. But during the pandemic, an emergency rule called Title 42 allowed U.S. officials to immediately deport.
They really got to let that pandemic shit go, man.
Certain migrants.
Last night, however, it's a bunch of bullshit.
The Supreme Court put a hold.
Mm-hmm. Look, total raise for this shit. 7 million, 7,000. What is that? 7,300,000. 7, right? What is that number right there? Right here. 7,307.00. 7,307. Okay, my bad. 7. Jeez. Support. Look, total raise to support this shit. Support the channel, I guess. Crazy.
Or court's decision
to
end those Title 42 expulsions. But that hold may only last for a few days.
Yeah, they got some skullduggery in there big time.
It is already struggling to care for the migrants that have come across. Mario D'Agostino is the deputy city manager for El Paso. He joins me now. Deputy city manager, thank you so much for being here. Your mayor declared a state of an emergency over the weekend over the anticipated potential surge of people coming across the border. The temperatures are dropping overnight, well below freezing, and people basically came with what they were wearing on their backs. Can you just tell us a little bit more about the people who are there and the difficulties you're having just caring for this current number?
That's exactly it. And so the current numbers that we're seeing right now, it's difficult. Customs and Border Patrol is actually doing street releases, community releases. So on a normal basis, they're orderly released to our NGOs, our churches, our local shelters, so that they can be housed while they wait for their transportation. With this extra flow that they've seen, they've had to also do street releases, and that's because there's just not enough bed availability. A lot of them need connectivity so they can schedule their airline or their bus ride out of town. Then we're actually offering them hotel space so we can get them off the street now. This current group that we're seeing, there's a good portion of them who don't want any aid or any care. They'll wait for their travels on their own. And so they're actually choosing to be outside. That's a difficulty for us because we're just concerned for their safety, for everyone's safety. And so those resources came in both transportation, which is for long distance transportation to get people to other locations that they want to go to. It was also for security, just for those reasons, those people in the street, to protect them, protect the community. And we have a lot of Texas Guard and DPS agents coming in. DPS is doing that security piece that I talked about, protecting the street. The Texas Guard, they're being staged here at this point in time. And from our understanding, that's for the request that we put in to assist with the sheltering and the feeding operations and what it's going to take if Title 42 does go away.
Certainly an enormous amount of challenges for a border community to be trying to deal with. Your mayor has said that if Title 42 were to possibly go away, there's potentially 20,000 migrants who would like to make it across and come to El Paso. Given the current situation, could you handle those kinds of numbers if they came?
And we're preparing as many bed spaces as we can get. 20,000 people is a large. I don't know many communities that could handle that overnight. The biggest issue for us is, besides that is the transportation. We just don't have the means to get them connected to other locations. So that is the concern. That was the reason for declaring, to make sure we could prepare, call for those additional resources as we did with the state resources coming in. It actually activated the National Red Cross. So they're coming in to assist us for sheltering up to 10,000. And right now we're in the process of identifying facilities and setting up facilities for large sheltering operations.
There has been a fair amount of criticism of the federal government's response to the border. I mean, Congress as well, but the federal government specifically. Do you think federal officials appreciate what you and other officials along the border are having to deal with?
I would only imagine that it is appreciated. I can say that we constantly ask for change. And what I mean by that is we understand there's migration and it's going to happen and there's legal ways.
Saying that, are you serious?
And we understand that. But there's got to be a more orderly fashion when we're seeing numbers of this
Yeah.
size. And so with that,
and in my opinion, what they're doing is
done numerous, and it's from. Is there any other way that Customs and Border Patrol?
You didn't see no Haitians happy.
Decompress. And so what I mean is we saw 16 to 1700 people released in
footage back.
El Paso every day last week.
Just for the sake
of argument, those numbers, they're flying people out of El Paso. So Customs and Border Patrol were flying them to other locations to be released. The only mechanism they have in place is to fly them to other borders.
And the other place they're going to send them is going to be Los Angeles.
It's going to affect all of us.
Denver, Los Angeles.
If there's other options.
Any other
Another thing we've brought up is what is the possibility
Oakland, San Francisco.
A change to where these people coming into the community can be termed as from instead of asylum seekers, but more of a refugee status. And this way they could operationalize as they did with the Fort Bliss here locally with the Afghan model. And so that gives a place to house people, to get them acclimated, and to make sure that we can arrange travels.
No, they treated them like criminals.
So we're asking for immediate things like that.
I feel like
but
rolling that
beautiful beat policy. It's going to take, more than just the U.S. working at this to try and work on this migration that we're seeing right now. Funding is not going to buy us out of it. It's going to take an effort larger than just El Paso.
This motherfucker was sending them away. Remember?
Yes.
Okay, what that clown there just talked to. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lady Che.
The proper procedures.
This is the one that left the Democratic Party.
Okay. This is today. This is like an hour ago.
That cinema chick.
Go ahead. What were you saying, Chewbacca?
Okay, no, what I'm saying is that the prepackaged. Yeah, okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Chewbacca.
Okay, yeah, the prepackaged bullshit that what I'm seeing right here is that they're gonna have these people here coming in here, as cheap labor, under the table type of labor. They're gonna be exploited.
Yep.
And as we had stated on Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced earlier this evening, okay, this is all just part of the fuckery. And once again, they're gonna push us to the side again, talking about black folks, American descendants of slavery, foundational Black Americans, those in the African diaspora, descendants of slaves. So what it is people, in my opinion, is once again, they pushing this agenda for us as a people to be more sympathetic with somebody else's cause than our own. And then, of course, keep in mind that Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, California, Nevada, and I would imagine even parts of Utah and Colorado were part of Mexico at one time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if I have my historical facts together.
Spanish colonies.
Yeah, look at this.
Spanish colonies at one time.
Yeah, was that, and that's the crew they call the conquistadors, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, they were part of New Spain.
Got you. Mm-hmm.
Mexico and the United States Monday to get supplies. At one point, 12,000 migrants set up camp near the border crossing in Del Rio, Texas, most of them from Haiti. This man says he's afraid to return to his home country, saying there's no safety and no work, referencing the recent assassination of Haiti's president. Many of the people here had fled Haiti after the 2010 earthquake and settled in Central and South America before north.
It is tragic and it is heartbreaking.
Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas traveled to southern Texas Monday, where the U.S. has begun mass deportations. On Sunday, more than 3, including families, flown back.
Complete different approach. They wasn't letting them flood the goddamn border. They put them back on the planes and sent them back to Haiti.
Right. And so taxpayers' dollars, Mr. Mayor, is paying for the plane fare. It's paying for the goddamn gasoline, you know, to fly the plane.
That was a year
for
ago.
the ground transportation. Oh, this was a year ago?
Yeah.
This is a year ago. This is what they did in Haiti. This is what Haiti. The Haitians came a year ago.
Okay, gotcha.
Right? You see how they put them on the planes? But you saw just a little bit ago what else they did, right? This is how they did the Haitians. Look.
An asylum claim.
The Haitians.
Okay, you there?
Natalie Brand.
Yeah, we're here, Shabaka.
CBS News, the White House.
Yeah.
For more on the situation in Del Rio, I want to bring in Congressman Tony Gonzalez. He is a Republican representing Texas's 23rd located.
National security crisis that is occurring. The last thing any of us, and right now all the resources are going to Del Rio, leaving other sectors, leaving other checkpoints wide open.
They're trying to say Haitians were like causing problems, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know, they try to, they try to.
It's all a pure chaos, and it needs to stop.
So given this crisis situation, flying them back, what is your view on that?
They still hate the Haitians for 1804.
The Remain in Mexico policy also worked. That's something that's being instilled. We need more boots on ground. I think that's critical as well for Border Patrol and ICE. But ultimately, the only way this gets solved is by reforming our legal immigration process. I wish this administration would talk more about immigration reform. Sadly, no one's reached out to me or others on my side of the aisle to have broad discussion. Form is that.
I might imagine this is an image that is quite evocative, given our history in this country, and is getting certainly a lot of attention on social media. What do you?
I visited with border agents that this throughout Rio, as well as other sectors. And when you have 15,000 folks that you're trying to remain calm and have some order, you're simply outnumbered. I mean, there's only hundreds.
Calm, right? The Haitians were just causing all kinds
it's
of
up to the
problems.
White House to come together and have a more lawful. I mean, right now you've got a White House that is just dug in and not listening to this problem.
Like a year ago.
Today it's Del
get them
Rio.
out of there quick enough, man.
But this way.
Now look at this shit. Like, man, you can't make this shit up. Look, this is fucked up. Look how these people get to go.
Yeah.
Look, they just
out of the border.
The border.
Of a posse is urging. But
nobody else.
The term
Nobody.
from Fusion in Eagle Pass, Texas. But we begin our team coverage live with Rebecca Castor in El Paso, Texas. Rebecca.
Give a fuck where it is. Where's the horses?
Good evening, Alex. Behind me, you can see dozens of migrants that will sadly sleep on the streets tonight here in El Paso as they wait to get into a shelter or be bussed out of town. And this situation is expected to get worse. Now, whether Title 42 ends this week or next, city officials are preparing for as many as 5,000 migrants a day to enter into El Paso. The state enforcement into the city to help discourage illegal crossings and help Texas Rangers and Border Patrol border.
But we're certainly prepared if more people show up. Our mission remains the same. We will be out in force with a force size that is intended
California,
to tell them you
Shabaka?
cannot cross unlawfully. It's our job
What city?
to turn them back.
With minimal
Oh
force.
yeah, that's
The
Los
emergency
Angeles.
shelters in El
Military
Paso.
goes.
You can see the floors are
Look.
crammed with makeshift beds as hundreds of migrants
They didn't do
wait
that for Haiti.
Some shelter
Let's just keep
directors
it
tell
real.
Fox News they fear they won't be able to keep
No,
up if there
it's
Right.
is a surge in
different,
migrants. Now, this whole Title
complete
42
different
comes after a
response.
group of Republican-led states
Right.
called an
Yeah, the
emergency
military
appeal,
don't
This
use.
here
arguing
supports
They're
the
not gonna use
premise,
this policy,
force.
their communities are going to be overwhelmed. Now, the
and
DOJ
then quite
acknowledged
naturally, of
that
course,
today
this
in
supports
their
the
filing to the
premise
Supreme Court. They
of
want to
the
get more resources here
inclusion
to
of
the border
illusion,
before Title 42 expires.
Or
So
or
we'll
the
see
illusion.
what
illusion
the
of
Supreme Court
inclusion.
decides on that,
Yeah.
Alex.
Yeah, it's hard to
Look,
imagine
put
Because
the
it seems
shelters.
like with the Haitians,
the end of this
of
before the
being
Biden
of African
administration says
descent,
they're ready for it.
they
Meanwhile,
dealing
Rebecca,
with
we see
them
behind
quite
you, it
obviously in
looks
a
like
different
are
manner.
those migrants sleeping on the ground? And if so, what is the city doing about that?
Yes, Alex, unfortunately, that is the scene here. These migrants will have to sleep here on the street tonight. Lots of shelters in the city are at capacity, and many of these migrants here aren't able to get bus tickets until tomorrow. So they will be here on the streets tonight. You know, we have seen nonprofit organizations in the city come out throughout the day, bringing food, water, blankets, and stuff like that. But the reality is the low tonight's going to be about 30 degrees, and you have families out here, you have kids out here, and they're going to be here overnight.
Rebecca,
Oh, I'm so
want
sad.
people bringing communicable diseases in. So if somebody were to walk in right now, say from Mexico, Border Patrol can take them into custody, put them on a bus, bounce them back to Mexico immediately. It's a very quick process, and it gets them out of the country immediately. And it's been used more than 2 million times under both President Trump and President Biden.
This is the same bus.
And without
Not
it, what
everybody
happens?
over here.
Without it, you're going to lose access to immediate expulsions first off, and everybody's going to have to be processed via Title VIII. So what does that mean? Title VIII means that once Border Patrol takes somebody into custody, they're actually going to have to go into a processing center. They're going to have to do all the paperwork. And then one of several happens. You can get transferred to ICE, and ICE can either deport them or release them. Border Patrol can hold them. They can get released into a custody of an NGO. They can get an NTA. There's all sorts of different umbrellas that can happen. But the point is, Title VIII is a much longer process, and under this administration, it usually means somebody is being, so instead of having over 100,000 expulsions every month, most of those expulsions are going to turn into releases. So all this overcrowding you've been seeing at the border and these images of people at NGOs and sleeping on the streets, it's expected to get significantly worse because of that reason.
Well, and let's talk about the situation right now. We just showed some drone video that you guys have shot.
And they turn themselves into Border Patrol because they are expecting to be released. Then on the other side of the state, about 7 hours west of us in El Paso, they are having a major humanitarian crisis right now. They've been getting more than 2,000 illegal crossings every single day. Border Patrol facilities there are completely over capacity, so they don't have any room for people. So they've been mass releasing hundreds of migrants to the streets every day. And that's where everybody's seeing these images of hundreds of migrants camp out and sleeping on El Paso streets in the cold. They're also sleeping in El Paso's airport. They're all over the place, and that is why the city there has declared a state of emergency. And everything that's
all you got to do is take Interstate 10 due west.
Once it drops,
it'll
you're
take you to the Pacific Ocean.
Coming in, and you're going to have even more releases, which is going to add even more stress to an already overburdened system in a lot of these small little border towns.
A lot of folks may not know that you actually are fluent in Spanish, and you speak to these folks crossing the border every day, have been for years now. What are the migrants themselves telling you, and are they talking about Title 42?
Hell nah. Probably said, I got a promise to come on over.
We have gone into multiple Mexican border cities, and we have found migrants who are literally camped out on the streets waiting for December 21st, telling us they're waiting for Title 42 to drop because they believe it will be their opportunity to get into the United States. And that is why DHS is projecting such big numbers. Upwards of 14,000 a day could start crossing because there are so many people in Mexico right now waiting potentially for midnight tonight to cross. When we do talk to these migrants, a large majority of them tell us they're here for work or they're here to meet up with family who've already been in the United States for years.
Bill Malou.
What's happening in Mexico?
Now to the border. Apprehensions.
The
And them people was coming from
going
Juarez
on.
and
He sees
In the car. Yeah, that's been going on.
These dangerous
Been going on for
cartels are making
decades.
on Joe
Juarez
Biden's
is
wide open
like
border.
the
My
most
next
violent
guest is
city
Texas
in the
Congressman
world.
August Pfluger, posting images
This
of
is
a
not
Well, I could see why
recently
Biden did
It's
that.
like a baby
Well, the
thing.
Democrats did that to expedite these people to become voters for the next election.
Yeah, like they did
I
in
mean,
New
they're
York.
telegraphing. I mean, they're telegraphing that move, man, by a country mile.
Right. This is just
The
surface
thing
shit. This is
is,
like
they're illegal
like a baby
immigrants. They can't freaking vote. They can't vote.
Yeah,
thing. In New York, they're doing it,
but
man.
one thing they
In New
can,
York, yes, in New York, that's like the only state.
yeah, but one thing they
We're
can't
all
get out
against
of them, brother
crime.
Che,
We're
is
all
cheap
we're behind
labor.
it. Yeah. That the numbers, the breeding numbers are gonna go up. Everything's going up. But this right here, these
Yeah,
little drugs right
the
here,
breeding
this is
numbers
just
can
like
go up all they want,
baby
but
wins right here. This is like, yeah, we'll give you this, but we're shipping like more just because we can. You know what I mean? They're not talking about all the other pipelines. They're just talking about the gates. You know what I mean? Everybody from California know there's many ways to come in and out. You know what I mean? This
yeah,
ain't shit.
Yep.
This baby wins right here. Take this little fentanyl and you like it. This shows you want a little something something. Motherfucker coming in underneath the motherfucking fat burger or something like that. Real
Yeah.
shit. Real shit.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? It's like, you just take this
Yeah.
little so you guys think you seized some shit. 97 million? That ain't nothing to motherfuckers just making it
and an assault members.
one.
Joining me right now, Texas and member of the House.
Keep in mind, this is motherfucking the most creative ways, okay? That's just like a baby win.
House Homeland Security Committee,
It's like
August
a taste.
Pfluger. Congressman, it's great to see you. Thanks very much. Doing a great. They are not responding to this crisis at all. Out of the White House.
I thought they were going to respond when,
why is the Chinese Communist Party sending people into our wide open border when they already abused the visa process? They're abusing the visa process and getting in here and putting surveillance programs in place. Why do they need the wide open border to do it as well? They're willing to pay $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a head to get into this country.
Well, and that's scary. You know, when you look at the drugs, as you mentioned,
you can clearly
it's dollars to the cartels. I mean, this is a big business. The pictures that I posted last night, that was a routine traffic stop in San Antonio, Texas.
See?
And then this is something that has to be understood, is that the amount of drugs is overwhelming. What it's doing to our society, to our communities, to our kids, the 100,000 plus deaths. And to your question about the Chinese Communist Party, why are they sending people through a port border when they already abuse?
Yep. That's right across the street from Mexico.
It makes you wonder who is coming through. And about a year ago, the sheriff's department in a very small county, Kimball County, a vehicle stop, and ended up
they're responsible for that shit.
Arresting several what they call high priority immigrants or Chinese. And you wonder how many other people are coming through, what they're up to.
You don't think the American government knows what the Mexican everybody's over there doing, shipping through whatever, whenever? Come on now. Of course they know. They created this motherfucking problem to try to fix the problem, to create another problem, and keep everybody addicted, fucking incarcerated, just so they can prosper.
Right.
You know what I mean? This has been going on for fucking decades. I'm 42. I should know.
To what their
well,
goals are in this country, but we know it's not good, and the Biden administration refuses to do anything to stop it.
Well, that's right.
They're not going to. Yeah, go ahead, Chewbacca.
Yeah,
You're right there. You're right there
as I was
California.
saying, yeah. So quite natural, of course. You know, they bringing them here to drive down the price, cheap labor. Now, another practice that I've came across in research, you know, over the years, is that a lot of these companies well, get these illegals, as they call them, to work for them, and the boss man would know that they're here illegally, and then they would go to exploiting these people. You see what I mean? Now, that's an act wrong within itself. But why is it that when we as a people mention the brutalization that happened to us, what does white America tell me? Oh, you all just get over it and this, that, there, and all this prepackaged bullshit. And then as I prep to go get my reparations package here in California, I'm going to be writing down some rebuttals for future shows on it. Because I'm definitely, as the West Coast correspondent for the Revolutionary Agenda and Frontline Black News, is definitely going to keep an eye on it. And the update on that is that they still are fucking around trying to figure out who's going to decide what, putting a panel together and all this stuff. So expect some live feeds from up there from Sacramento, in the future. Yeah, you see, because if I could walk into the goddamn state legislature with that camera on, I will do it.
They're gonna meet in Sacramento in February.
Okay, so that's next month.
No, February.
Yeah, okay, 2 months from now. Okay. Well, that will give me time to prepare. Okay, and then you're gonna have and expect this here, black family, just with me being an old bastard. Okay. Is that you're going to have a backlash on the reparations, because first thing that's going to come is the hatred toward us again. So we're used to it. And then what our rebuttals is going to be is that look how we contributed to your damn gross domestic product for centuries. You see what I'm saying? And then on the platform of Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced of Dr. George DeGruy, if you are watching this, please reach out to us. Is because, ma'am, from what I understand, that you were doing a study a few years ago that you had started, and you should be, completing of it, just to show how the U.S. economy and big business benefited off of the transatlantic slave trade. Is because Dr. DeGruy was talking about, the money they made off of insuring the slave ships, the money that they made off of the cargo that they were bringing, from Africa, in addition to the slaves itself. And then, of course, I'm very eager to see the breakdown of the various ages of the slaves. What I mean by that is, okay, so here you got old ass Shabaka, half his dinner work is gone. Well, we probably spent about $25 on this nigga. You know what I'm saying? Okay, brother Che. Okay,
you're in your prime though. The price went up. You're in your prime.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna make like 30 babies. You're in your prime.
Okay, now, seduction doll. What you're talking about right there. Okay, now what you're talking about right there is that the black women that they sold on the auction block, a lot of them were referred to as jewels, just for the reason that you brought right there. You see? Okay, so any of those who saw the motion picture Mandingo, all right? And the heavyweight champion at that time, Muhammad Ali, he had hated that movie. And you probably could pull some file footage up on what he said. Okay. It wasn't so much of the black man wanting a white woman. What white America does not want to face is that it was the white woman that wanted the black man. And a common line is, like in the motion picture Mandingo, the white woman would tell the black man, well, if you don't fuck me, I'm going to tell the master that you raped me. And so the brothers, damned if he does, damned if he don't.
Right.
Okay, so on that alone, the same thing with the raping, slave trading pedophile that will violate young black girls as young as 12 years old, you see, you have to bring them face to face with that. White America doesn't want to hear that, you see. Then you got the Kumbaya bunch. But can we just all get along?
Oh, Lord, that Rodney King bullshit.
And that's exactly what it was. I mean, here, man, the LAPD beat your ass, hit you 52 times with a goddamn baton.
That was probably the
Can
start of
we just all
forgive.
get along?
You know what I mean? Like the start of
Run that by me again,
you know what I mean? Let's just forgive him. Remember, that's kind of like the precursor to forgive. You know, let's at the end of everything, let's take our settlement. Let's forgive everybody. Let's hold hands. I bet you
Shit.
that's probably
Breonna Taylor's father said, "I ain't forgiving nobody."
I ain't forgetting nobody.
Fuck
Of
that.
course not. That was his child. You see? Of course he ain't gonna forgive that. What man in his right fucking mind will forgive a murdering son of a bitch that killed his child?
Oh.
Coon.
Yeah, I mean, worse than that. I mean, that's
Motherfuckers should want
even
that money. They keep bullets.
inhumane.
Or how
That's
about Stephen
inhumane to.
Clark's brother? Remember Stephen Clark's brother down in I think it was in Sacramento. Yeah, in Sacramento.
Oh yeah, the one. Yeah,
Don't you love me?
yes.
Don't you love
Stephon
me?
Clark.
Yeah, don't you love me? Don't you love me?
I mean, yeah, and then they even had that dude on CNN, and Don Lemon, I believe, who was the anchorman on that show, had him up there, and they giving him time to speak, and he's sitting there froze.
Yeah.
What is that? Man, they giving you a platform for you to go out there, man, and raise all kind of hell, man, and you sit up there and freeze.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Very sad. You know?
Yeah, he flashing all this money. He got all this money. He got stacks of money like this to his head, like a money phone. Talking about, don't you love me? Don't you love me? At city council talking about, don't you love me?
Yeah, what kind of shit is this? You know? And
Just
then, like I told you,
showing out.
yeah. And then, just like when the Denver Police Department murdered Paul Childs.
Yes.
Yeah.
I met his mother when I was there in Denver.
Yeah, that was my childhood friend. I grew up with him.
Oh man, condolences again, man. Say,
but he's
and then the sad part,
independent monitor out here.
Yeah. And then the cold part about it is, from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, Brother Che, is that the police officer that shot and killed Mr. Childs, was familiar with him.
Yeah. Everybody in the neighborhood was familiar with him. We all know he had mental health issues.
So if anything, so why did the officer feel that it was necessary to kill this young man? Well, actually, he was an adolescent.
Yeah, he was like 15, 16 years old.
Yeah, I believe he was 15, and he was big for his age, as they say.
Yeah.
And a cop damn sure can't say he was in fear of his life. I'm not buying that.
He had a butter knife.
Okay, the only thing, man, the worst that you could do with a butter knife, man, is put a bruise on somebody. You're not gonna cut shit.
Right.
Let's say.
Yeah.
I mean, butter knives are
you gotta really add some force to that, yeah.
And then the trend continuing with that ragged ass cop up there in Wisconsin that shot and killed young man, talking about, oh, I was reaching for my taser. No. But that's why the taser is of a bright color.
Oh man. The lady, yeah.
The
shot.
Yeah,
she said,
shot young man, killed him.
And she's training somebody.
Yeah,
the one that was training somebody.
Yeah, she knew what she was doing. 10 years, you don't know.
She knew exactly what the hell that she was doing.
Potter. Kim Potter. I knew it was going to come to me. Kim Potter.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, like she didn't know.
Okay.
Come on, 10 years? You know your weapon.
Exactly. And then also, too, I would like to reach out there to...
Huh?
Yeah.
I think that was in Minneapolis.
Yeah, it was. It was either Wisconsin or Minnesota.
Yeah, it was Minnesota.
Okay. And then also too, Sergeant Dorsey retired of the Los Angeles Police Department.
Oh yeah, she's in the race.
Another murdering ass organization. Okay, Sergeant Dorsey, yeah, we would love to have you, on our platforms, man, because I got some very, very serious questions for you with me growing up in Los Angeles. I have some very serious questions for you, Sergeant Dorsey.
Yeah, well,
So if you out there, ma'am.
Jason Black has some questions for her too in Race War.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. And then the sad part about it is the LAPD is notorious for its racism, and we're not going to rehash that. We already know that. We explain that on our platforms and what have you. Okay, but the ethos, which is the attitude of a society, I believe it's called the ethos, if I recall my sociology 101.
Yeah, the ethos. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So the ethos, the group psychology of when it comes to us as men, okay, black men, what have you. The ethos of America is that they're not to have no regard on our lives. Say,
that's because it's
okay, the American ethos goes against what Brother Che is trying to do in Denver. The American ethos goes against when Brother Che has stated black first. Okay, I've never heard no politician, regardless at the municipal, at the state, or the federal level, make that statement.
Right.
So, Brother Che, you might want to go get the copyright on that, man. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
okay.
It was the new black media that came up with that phrase, black first. We just ran with
it. Okay.
It feels right.
Okay.
It feels very right.
Yeah, I mean, Marcus Garvey told us this over 100 years ago. Race first. Okay.
Well,
and then we get called all kind of foul names, all kind of foul crap. Social media wants to block us and what have you. So that proves our premise that they are in fear of black unity. And not only in the U.S., but throughout the whole diaspora, because there were activists, as I recall, over the course of my lifetime, that just was saying, we just call ourselves Africans, regardless if we're in Puerto Rico, regardless if we're in Florida, California, England, Jamaica. I mean, that's how we got there. And then also, too, I want to put it out there to a person who I debated on Facebook a while back, who told me that we was already here, that slavery never happened. And then you got these two sisters who formed their own business. They're scuba divers. And what these sisters did is that they went scuba diving in the Caribbean, and I believe it was near either Barbados or the Bahamas. And they had went and saw the statues that were placed there by the various nations there in those regions, tribute to the slaves that were thrown off the ships as they got ill or they lost their marketability, more or less. So let's look at it, that you got, 300, slaves on a cargo ship, right? At that time, they didn't have the telephone. They didn't have speed of light communications. Okay. I'm not going to use the word primitive, but let's say rural. Okay.
I think if I had a chance to jump off the boat, I would have jumped off the boat too.
Okay, glad you brought that up, because there were some of the sisters who took their newborn babies and jumped off the boat. You had those of our people that landed off the shores of North Carolina and realized their situation, and they backed themselves up into the Atlantic. Say, this is the part they don't want you to know. Just like when you saw in the first Black Panther, where Killmonger told T'Challa at the end of it, hey man, you know, you might as well execute me, man, or take me to Carolina, man, in the same way, you know, that our people back themselves up into the water because they realized, you know, and they realized they could not get back on. You lost Shabaka?
Nope, we're good. We got
No, we
you.
can hear you. I said I was just about to bring that up.
Okay. And they backed themselves into the Atlantic and said that they much rather be dead than conquered.
Right.
Just like Thomas Jefferson, when his State of the Union address of 1804 after the Haitian Revolution, okay?
Yeah.
Hey, we got to ban the importation of these Negroes is because, see, they were born free. These is the warriors. But these brain dead, ass scratching Uncle Ruckus, Uncle Tom's, warlocks and walkers, okay? The chain is on their brain. We ain't got to worry about them at all.
Right. Well, let's see what's going on over here now, so that I really got a little bit of understanding about what's happening right here. So 42nd didn't end. Now let's get over here to our part of the area. Okay, so let's see.
It's hand cone on NBC.
I mean, of Denver, Colorado, Michael Hancock, as I said, he just declared a
Yeah,
state of
big news. You made it to meet the
over
press.
the influx of migrants there. Obviously, most people know where Colorado is on a map. Colorado does not have its southern border is not another country, and yet these migrants are coming. Mayor, do you have an idea of why your city's been a magnet for this migrant surge?
Because it's a sanctuary city.
Let me first thank you for having me. And we don't know. We do know that at least in
some of the
migrants and refugees who've come to Denver over the last couple of weeks, that they came through El Paso and it was suggested that they come to Denver, not necessarily by the state of Texas, but by NGOs that are on the ground.
What the fuck is an NGO?
So,
okay.
Look, I know you're a
organization.
city that has some resources to deal with this, but all of this coming at once, I know declaring as an emergency helps sort of cut some red tape and allow the state to help, feds to help. Well, what's realistic here? What can you handle, and what puts you at the breaking point? What becomes the breaking point?
Well, let me just say that, Chuck, we had not had partnership with some nonprofits and faith institutions around. We have been breaking point. December the 9th, when I opened up the Emergency Operations Center, some 800 migrants and asylum seekers have come to Denver, and that has overwhelmed us. They started at our homeless shelters, overwhelming. Then we had to take 3 of our recreation centers offline, and we've had to do that even with our partners helping out by taking 50 here and 100 there to shelter and to provide support services for them. We spent in excess of about $800,000 of general fund. We continue to see a flow anywhere from 50 to 110. We had 110 people come in last night to 170 people show up in one night. Just continue cause power to but also to begin the process around the Rocky Mountain region.
To this motherfucker, I swear.
You also have a homelessness issue that's starting to surge, especially with winter. That puts some strain on shelters. What are you doing to try to deal with that at the same time you've got this migrant surge?
It's one reason why we opened up the recreation centers to become, shelters, temporary shelter for the migrants. The reality is that we can't keep them offline too long. People in Denver love their rec centers. They want to access the rec centers as well. We've asked for patience, but the goal was to relieve the pressure that was on our homeless shelters so that we can take care of both populations.
Man, that brain dead motherfucker, man, makes me want to vomit.
That's why we call on Michael Hancock.
And I want to commend you for the comments you made.
Yeah, that clown makes me want to vomit.
Whether Title 42 is extended or expires, they have this, but Partisans have gotten in the way of addressing this very critical
Another
issue.
Larry
Remember, being
Elders.
forced
Yeah.
to do what we have to do. to
Another
challenge our
Larry
government
Elder.
that's falling down on
It's a
its
sanctuary city. Why
responsibility
don't
to
you
address
say
this issue.
that?
Right.
I can get pretty cynical from my years of covering Washington, but this is so frustrating to hear all this chatter in Washington about the problem, and you, a mayor of a city that has to deal with this ridiculousness. If you had Kevin McCarthy and Chuck Schumer in a room, the next head of the House Republicans, I mean, Congress has to do this. What would you tell them?
The reality is that all of us take an oath to serve, to protect the health, safety, and wellness, and even those who come into our sphere. And the reality is that you have to serve. And right now, one of the most pressing issues facing the American people is the crisis at our border. And though it's a humanitarian effort for people on both sides of the
Wait a minute. Now this motherfucker just said,
not the unaffordability in Denver, the fucking crisis at the border. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh yeah, that's sickening. And then not to mention the people who are unhoused right now, and you guys got a snowstorm coming on.
We got
the same motherfucker that criminalized everybody at fucking Union Station.
Yeah, he locked up 1,500 people.
Right. This same
1,600 people.
Yeah,
1,500. Yeah. Over the summer.
Okay, why did he lock them up?
Because they were causing so much trouble at Union Station. And Union Station is owned by a bunch of fucking gentrifying crackers, and they got tired of seeing that shit. So
right, because it was cold when it started.
Well, okay, that sounds like 1,500 cases of false arrests right there.
Some of them, we don't even know where they are, man. They haven't even got out. They're like missing in action. But that lets us know. Let's just keep it 100. Man, this is the same dude that they refused to fucking actually do the work of the house. He oh my god, I can go in all day. We could just roll back city council for like the last year, and just that'll prove our point right there. Right there.
All right. Okay, Seduction Doll and Brother Che. Feel free to to use our platform at Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced by any means necessary that you need, to get your word out for your campaign of mayor.
Been lying. He lied straight like we don't know why it's happening. Are you serious?
We know exactly why it's
happening. You know exactly why it's happening. You're the same one that said
that Negro has been bought.
Dude, I'll show you right now where he said we want to make homelessness a one-time occurrence in this city. I'll pull it up right now. I read that shit the other day, like a couple weeks ago on fucking city council.
Okay. Has he signed an executive order to use the mayor's mansion of Denver, Colorado as a place where people can get housed?
No. The mayor's mansion is closed.
Right.
Okay, has he used his own private residence to house a couple of people?
No, ain't nobody. They ain't doing none of that, man. They just lying. They're lying. Whatever.
Okay, has he suggested to the Denver public school system that they open up their high school gymnasiums for preferably the basketball courts? To house people?
Nope. They don't care anything about that. They want to make it here.
Okay. All right. Has he appealed to the governor of Colorado to activate the National Guard to use their facilities to house the homeless and the severe weather you guys are getting ready to have?
Nope. He didn't even do that much for COVID, man. He left motherfuckers out on the street during COVID.
Why he went to Mississippi.
Yeah, I was outside.
Why he went to Mississippi.
Yeah, I was outside. I was definitely outside during COVID.
He told everybody to stay home. He went to Mississippi.
Okay, what is the procedure to impeach His Honor the Mayor in Denver?
We have to recall him. I believe you have to get 4,000 signatures. something like that. It's like
he's turned out though. It doesn't even matter. He's turned out.
Yeah, he's termed out. So
this will be up for the next mayor.
This is last term.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so he's termed out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's lying. He's clearly fucking lying.
That's why we got 25 people running for mayor now.
Right. That's why it's like, oh, everybody, let's jump in. And all these people are wrong, and all wrong.
All these people are just another version of him.
Right. Right.
Well, this damn car ain't trying to warm up.
Oh no!
So it shows you just how cold it is outside here in Oakland.
We didn't send you there to play partisan politics. We sent to take care of the American people and to take care of, quite frankly, our role as a global leader. And right now we're being called. So meet the challenge that is being called for at this point in time.
Leadership, cuz.
We can't even address what the fuck.
I'm just curious with the other services, right? If you're being there, I mean, give me an example of how this impacts other parts of what you're trying to do in the city.
Yeah, great question, Chuck. Every agency in the city of Denver has been brought into the Emergency Operations Center. The moment we activate it, you basically leave your assigned duty or what you've been hired to do in the city of Denver. You go in that operations center and you have a new responsibility. So every agency, all hands are on deck. We have city employees who are manning these shelters, who are manning the reception center. We're trying to work around the clock to reunify people with family members and friends who are here in the United States and to make sure we get the necessary.
Oh boy, these slave-minded Negroes.
Yep.
Oh, it is sickening.
You can't even address the problems in your own city, but you want to bring in more people?
And I got to give it up to our city employees who are doing everything they can to help us to meet this challenge and also keep the city running. And we are stressing our city employees. We're stressing our agencies. Some of these employees are doing, 14-hour shifts, not only doing the shelter, but sometimes going back to their desk. We have folks who've had to abandon the operations center and to do the job of helping us to meet this challenge. So the city has had, similar to what we had to do with the pandemic,
another Tom Bradley.
This challenge has come to our state.
Another Tom Bradley.
They just want to help out. Maybe they want to donate some clothes, something, help out an NGO in Denver. Is there one or two that you would point out?
I simply would direct people to our website, denvergov.org/OEM. And there you could find where you can volunteer or you can make donations and support the efforts that we have on the ground here. And thank you for that.
Hey, Hancoon.
Well, look, I think we all are glad to live in
Say, Hancoon, with your ass scratching ass, why don't you have the people endorse Jesse for mayor?
We ought to remember here.
He would deal with it.
Right. They won't do that. Like anything. This word like against all this shit.
Happy holidays.
The machine doesn't want that.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC
I don't
News
even know
app.
how to do it at this point. I just know that we just gotta
That's why they're
work really
raising
fucking
hundreds
hard.
of thousands of dollars against me.
Really, that's exactly what it is. And they're duck dancing, raising all this motherfucking money. And look, these
Meanwhile,
motherfuckers are living
Denver
next
is
to
issuing an emergency after hundreds of undocumented migrants arrived unexpected, putting a strain on resources at a cost of more than $800,000 for the city. Denver Mayor Michael Hancock joining us now live. Mayor, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being here.
Josh, thank you for having me.
Any indication why the surge is only hitting Denver now?
Well, we know that it's the country, but we have been monitoring since our activation of our Emergency Operations Center on December the 9th. The number of migrants coming to Denver, we are over 870, almost 900 migrants over the last 3 weeks in Denver, 2 weeks in Denver, really. And we understand from talking to them that they kind of loosely organized themselves in El Paso, and some NGOs have suggested they come to Denver as a city that might accept them.
So help us understand the overwhelm here. We know so far Denver is 2 of its largest recreation centers into shelters, that city staff is being reassigned as well. You say almost 900 have arrived unexpectedly. Are you expecting any more at this point?
And seeing anywhere from 40 to as many as 110 in one night. We had 76 arrive last. It's just consistent cadence that's occurring. But we're going to run out of capacity to serve them. And the reality is as and unfortunately we're going to have some folks.
Well, it seems to me, Mayor Hancoon, that you would open up your house
so while we're
to
able
them.
to accommodate them now, at least for a brief period of time, with the transformation of some of our our recreation centers, we're not going to be able to do it.
I was out there.
So what do you need? What needs to happen
I did nature exploring.
Obviously, space is a big issue, and then our staffing, our volunteers. We
the
don't
one
have
day I
enough
wish I was
volunteers, as
doing.
you pointed out
It's like a
at the
really
start
good
of this
idea.
segment. We have
I wish I
reassigned
was
city
doing,
staff,
this
but
is how
it's
you
also
get
the
it to
holidays,
Mitchell.
so our city staff, many of them were
Like
already on
thorough
vacation or on their way to
investigation.
vacation for the holidays. So it's a very challenging time for us. Our resources are stressed, but the biggest issues for us, shelter space and volunteers or staffing for the shelter.
And well, we know Title 42 ending in just 3 days. Asylum seekers allowed to stay here in the U.S. So what are you expecting after the 21st?
You know what? I don't know what we can expect. We were again caught off guard by this surge. We did not expect this. We had had a trickle of migrants coming to Denver.
Really,
a few here.
Really, Hancock, you were caught off guard. This is a sanctuary city.
We got everywhere. We got
You had
refugees from
fucking
Ukraine.
Abbott,
We got
the
refugees.
governor of
We got
Texas,
refugees
talking
from
about he gonna
motherfucking
send all the
everywhere.
migrants to sanctuary cities. And you're surprised that he's sending them to Denver, and Denver's a sanctuary city.
No, but back that track up,
sense.
back that track up, cuz. Back that track up. We got immigrants and refugees from the Ukraine, Saudi Arabia, all those countries. This ain't nothing brand new.
No.
Okay, I got a question.
Go ahead, Shabaka.
Okay, how many Haitians is this son of a bitch allowing to come into Denver?
We didn't get no Haitians. If they did, it was very. We didn't get no.
Okay.
Haitians. But we got all the European white ones, the Latin ones, the South American ones, the Ukrainians, the Europeans. I mean, the British ones. We got every refugee you could think of, including the latest.
We have a whole office of refugees.
Right. So that's why I'm saying he lying. He knows what's going on. Everybody knows what's going on. Now they're acting like they're overwhelmed so they get more funding.
So basically what it is that His Honor, the mayor of Denver, current mayor of Denver, Hancoon, is full of bullshit.
Well, let's just keep this in mind, fellas. Dude, like a couple of months ago, when they first came in, they were getting housing and welfare and everything.
Yeah, the Ukrainians, they're putting the Ukrainians up in nice houses.
Right.
They had a whole house ready for them. These motherfuckers are like, yeah, we have a whole house ready for them. They're welcome here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody gets.
All right. So once again,
unhoused
is that Hancoon, hand garbage, or whatever is committing a human rights violation in regard to those who are residents in the city of Denver.
So he's doing all this, right? He's doing all this for these goddamn refugees or migrants or illegal
immigrants. This is
all
about money, man. He's just getting
but yet he's still doing the sweeps.
Right.
The sweeps are still going on.
Right.
He's talking about resources is being strained, but you're still doing the sweeps.
Still doing the sweeps.
Right.
And you're not putting the regular the unhoused that we have here with shelters or anything like that. So
No,
basically
you're kicking them out of shelters for these damn refugees.
You got them sleeping on the fucking floor with no blankets or a mat.
In sub-zero weather.
Yeah, but you still
in wintry conditions.
Oh man, they put up 8-foot fences and like they're in kennels and shit. I don't know.
Later on today, it'll be below zero.
We need to adopt them. The last couple winters ago, they're sweeping people out in the snow. They don't give a damn. But these people got like carte blanche. They got a little cot, little welcome bag, a folder, blanket, food. You know what I mean? Warm little area to chill in. You know what I mean? Well, everybody's outside right now, stuffing their tents with motherfucking cardboard, getting ready for the winter. I was just outside. I was in a tent for 12 hours checking it out. Trust me, I know. I could tell. I'm speaking from experience today. Like all day, every day. I'm outside. That's lived experience, everybody and their mother. You know what I mean? I was outside today. So I can tell you firsthand that's what's going on. Firsthand,
Okay.
right now, today, right now, like 6 hours ago.
Okay. Is this food any way related to Warlock or Hershey Bar down there, Herschel Walker, or
Bought and paid for individual, man.
He's cut from the
yeah.
same part.
That's all that's about.
Okay.
Bought and paid for.
He's a complete sellout. I don't think he's related to them, but he's a complete sellout. He grew up in the same neighborhood as I did, and he sold us to the highest bidder. He sold the whole city to the highest bidder.
Right. The city bid hell. And the development,
that's crazy.
The development is an indication of that, especially when it's apartments and housing that no one can afford to get into. All these agencies are all wrapped up in like the same 5 agencies, and nobody's getting the help they need. But everybody and their mother can get the help they need from Denver and Colorado, except for the actual people that live here.
Right.
That's a terrible tragedy. That right there is the atrocity.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So once again, as we all know, that this shit is hypocrisy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I would debate with any ass scratcher, any Yasa boss, him included, in regard to this situation right here. See, this is the type of individual black family that Harriet Tubman had to deal with. No, seriously. Yeah. See, Harriet Tubman had I'm quite sure that she had to deal, with oh God. I mean, I don't know who makes me want to vomit more so, him or elders.
Oh.
Okay. It's because at least Karen Bass, and I'm not a fan of hers, but I do respect the mayor of Los Angeles of declaring a state of emergency in regard to the homeless.
Yeah.
Because just with her, huh?
My thing has been all week. Why now though? In consideration that Skid Row, every city like Oakland, fucking everywhere is like its own little community of 10 houses. It's been growing like that for like 4 years.
Well, Garcetti wouldn't do it.
Right. You see? And I remember seeing file footage that they had tents around the LA County Jail.
Right.
Right there by the federal building.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? And just like if we all recall the bullshit Occupy movement.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a bunch of shit. And I think that I did
it has certain fractions, right? Certain factions. The one here in Denver was legit though. The one here in Denver, they used to feed unhoused people, give them tents, put them up in tents. As a matter of fact, the reason why the camping ban even came about is because Occupy Denver was setting up tents in Civic Center Park. This coon ass nigga got upset about it, and his response to it was to pass the urban camping ban. But yeah, I know Occupy here, so I can just speak on them. But they're real good people. They're actually the ones that started the food bank at the Dahlia Square Senior Apartments. And they've been doing a lot of activism work for the past 10 years. And then when they passed the urban camping, they've been fighting against that since day one. And we were boycotting businesses on the mall. We were feeding people on the mall. We're doing a lot of stuff.
Okay. All right. That's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? It's because it ain't nothing worser in the middle of the night, this time of night, not having no place to go.
Right.
Yeah. And here's something, I'm going to say this here on the air. A few years back when I was in a situation, there was a donut shop here in Oakland. Okay. and people who were unhoused, like I was at the time, would go in there and sit up in a donut shop. But at least the owner was cool about it, or not the owner. I'm sorry, the manager. But he would get everybody up out of there at 5 a.m. You know, if you're in there asleep or what have you, he'll wake you up. Hey, you got to go. My boss is on the way. So to make a long story short, I went and saw him, and I thanked him, you know, for the times that I had to stay there.
Yeah.
Being unhoused.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean?
Yep.
Being unhoused. And he said, I never had no problem with you. You good people. But one thing I will say about that owner of that donut shop, if you came in there fucking up, he will hop over that counter and he will whoop your ass. I've seen him do it.
I believe it.
Oh, yeah. Because there was one dude that they used to refer to as shit man. Now, shit man would have shit in his pants, piss all over him, matted hair, unclean, and he'll walk in and out of the donut shop stinking it up.
That sounds like somebody that's in my building.
Yeah. And then old boy had no problem of hopping over that counter, escorting your ass up out of there one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, hey, I never had no problem with you. I never had no problem with it. It's good, good, good. But he said, but COVID, I says, I understand, you know. I says, you know, I got housing now. You see what I mean? And I believe, Brother Paris, we at this time in history, I believe Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced was in his second or third season.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you remember that restaurant downtown on 15th called Leela's?
Okay, in Denver?
Yeah.
What was the cross street?
It was between 15th and Stout and 15th and Champa.
Champa?
Yeah.
CHAMPA?
Yeah.
Okay, I do recall crossing a street called Champa. I do recall a street, of course, Colfax, which is the longest street in Colorado. Okay.
But yeah.
Oh, okay. I do recall crossing the streets of Quebec, Monaco. Let me see, Yosemite.
Yeah,
I recall. Okay, because I'm going back from memory now. Park, okay, because there used to be a night spot called Little Pierre's, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Pierre's used to be on Downey.
Okay.
They turned into a high-rise condominium.
Little Pierre's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no Pierre's anymore. The closest thing to Pierre's now is Randall's.
Randall's, yeah. I was about to say Randall's.
Okay.
We got the Pierre's.
Okay. And then I do remember a couple of places over there off of Colfax.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they closed down a lot of them spots. They closed down a lot of them spots. They closed down a lot of the motels. They call themselves revamping some of those motels and putting our unhoused neighbors in them. But the reason why I brought up Leela's is because it was to be a 24-hour restaurant, and you could go in there and you could sleep there like all night.
Okay. But just as long as you're giving a man, you know, some type of business, I take it.
Yeah, they shut that place down.
Okay, yeah, and that's what you know, my man used to do, you know, that I had mentioned, you know. But I go in there, I give him some type of business, you know. But like I said, but when shit man used to come in there, and just to show you about shit man, is that he's full of shit in his pants, piss on him. It looked like a month. He did not change his clothes. But I've came to the conclusion that this person, due to his plight, it just took its toll on him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, physically, mentally, spiritually, you see. And plus, he's an older dude, you know, over the age of 50. So,
he got his
you know, I can understand. Yeah. And I hate to say that, Lady Che, but that is the fact. He just gave up, or all the fight went out of him. he probably dug down within himself and used every ounce of resilience, every ounce of perseverance that he could have, and he just reached his limit. Say, and this is another thing these bastards don't understand. Because like I said, that sorry ass sack of shit right there with his 4-eyed ass, nothing against people that wear glasses, because you know I gotta get me some.
I'm wearing lenses.
Makes me want to vomit. Yeah, he makes me want to vomit. He really does. If anything, what that motherfucker should have said was that, hey, well, I'm dealing with the unhoused in the city of Denver first. All these other cats who's coming in here illegally, if we got space, we'll squeeze you in. If we ain't got space, that's on you because, hey, you brought your ass here. Motherfucker, we didn't go over there to say, hey, let's go get you. Right. You brought your ass here. You entered the country illegally.
Then I didn't try to put nobody in the immigration jail. Didn't let that motherfucker's just chilling right there. It's not full to capacity. Damn, you said nothing about that.
Yeah, they ain't said nothing about the ICE facility.
That's right down the road.
And then I remember, and I think I picked up a 30-day ban from Facebook. Okay. Again. All right, it's because I got into a dispute about this individual with an individual about, the children that were in the detention centers or the camps or whatever that they, held the illegal immigrants. And I got into an argument with somebody on Facebook, and they're telling me, well, Shabaka, how come you're not saying nothing about the children, over there in the detention centers? And I responded back to this individual as follows. What you're talking about is a fucked up ass situation. However, I am more concerned about black babies that were taken out of their mother's arms on the auction block, and only Lord knows what happened to those babies, and the parents never saw them again.
That part.
And then not to mention the fact that with them being females, they start getting violated like at the age of 12, 13, 14, because they're breeders. And if you was a black man as a slave, the slave master can go up there and violate your wife.
Yep.
In your presence.
To violate you. All that buck breaking.
Yeah, that's what the buck breaking was about. Yeah. Yeah, that's what the buck breaking was about. Say, but when we mention such things, we are referred to, quote unquote, as black racists. And I will say it again. And if I may on your platform, of the revolutionary of the revolutionary agenda, I will say it again. You motherfuckers are hypocrites. You're full of shit. It's in the ethos of your group psychology of the American social order.
And there's no such thing. There's no such thing. Black racism.
When a black man goes out here and kills another black man, you want to glorify that bullshit in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And I was looking to show somebody, the video that we made, Brother Che, when I was up there in Hollywood last March, I believe. It was either in the late spring or early summer, or where I fulfilled my promise, where I said I'm going to the Kodak Theater and call you sons of bitches of what you are. And I did. And then, Brother Che, you was watching the live and you sent me the note. Man, TMZ's the heat, man. Run away. They the heat. Get away from them. They the heat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So therefore, since then, I've not, been approached, by anyone, and like the time that we was doing StreamYard and I was in Montana.
Oh, God.
And of course, I had a visitor in Montana, And one thing I will have to say.
That day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then I will say, out of all fairness, You know, so these is all my haters out there that he asked me for what do they call it? My internal passport, commonly referred to as his driver's license, which he was provided with.
Right.
Okay. He ran a make on it. No warrants, no warrants. He handed it back to me and said, "Have a nice night." This is in Montana.
That was the longest
Now,
have a nice night ever, okay?
oh yeah. And then, but when you go down there to Mayor Bassett's city, call Los Angeles, and their police agency, what they would want to do with you in a situation like that is ask you for your ID, run a make on you, run a make on a vehicle. Then they're going to want to search your vehicle. And you have to tell them and make sure somebody hears you. LAPD, Officer such and such, Sergeant Coon, Officer Powell, Officer Brasino, Officer Wynn, you don't have permission to search my vehicle. Now, keep in mind, you're putting yourself in jeopardy when you tell them that.
Yep.
Hey, they'll give you the rural treatment like they did Rodney King.
Yeah, and I have
Get
seen, can we all just get along?
And that made me want to vomit.
Like, what are we going to do?
That, ladies and gentlemen, was the worst ride in U.S. urban history. But however, one thing I did respect about Papa Bush, he was the president. He had stated that what he saw with Rodney King made him ill, okay, with the video. He did state that what's happening in the city of Los Angeles is going to stop, okay? And he also, if I'm not mistaken, if memory serves me correct, and please correct me if I'm wrong, not only did you have the California National Guard there, I believe he had said that he was sending in the regular army. The regular army. Okay. And doing that, I go to the local 7-Eleven, and I'm looking at a damn tank sitting in the parking lot. And I'm looking at 4 National Guardsmen, U.S. Army there with M16s, banana clips, at Port Arms. And I said, "Hey, man, what's getting ready to happen?" And they said, "Just have your ass off the street by 6 p.m.
Oh, shit.
And he was not smiling. He was not joking. He said that very firmly, you know, as he kept that M16 at Port Arms. See? Okay? He was not bullshit. You know?
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, let me go on here, get inside." You know what I mean? And what have you. They say. And then I had, you know, my loved ones call me from across the country. "Hey, are you okay?" "Yeah." "Are you indoors?" "Yeah." And I'm just up here on the top of my roof. And I'm looking at the fireworks. And Los Angeles looked like Beirut.
Yeah.
Mushrooms coming up everywhere.
So you said there's still parts of LA that's still fucked off.
Oh, yes, sir. And glad you brought that up, Brother Chase, since we're dealing with bullshit politicians. By the way, Mr. Uberoff, the current or former baseball commissioner, where they had made you the chairman of the Rebuild LA project, explain to me why in the fuck, when I did a live feed from A Taste of Soul last early fall, and you saw all the vacant lots right there that are yet to be rebuilt up. And the damn rebellion was 30 years ago.
It's still on
a whole fucking generation. I was your age, Brother Che, when that shit went down. Vacant lots everywhere. Everywhere. Vacant lots. But they did rebuild some of it, I must say. But I honestly believe that the rebuilding of those ones that got built up was perhaps, from the actual corporate property owners that rebuilt it up themselves. But I don't think the city of LA did shit for people there, because when they had to rebuild LA project, it was supposed to be young urban youth, okay, and tradesmen who were supposed to get first priority at these jobs, with apprenticeship programs and what have you. And people wanted to work. People wanted to learn a trade. But
they weren't gonna let it happen.
But the old bullshit that went on with it, it went stagnant. You see? Then, the homeless situation in Los Angeles. It's not so much so bad in downtown LA, but all over the whole goddamn city.
Yeah.
You go to Venice.
Damn.
You got rows of tents up and down Oceanfront Walk.
What?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I've seen videos
Yeah.
of it. It was horrible.
Yeah, it was bad. You got tent cities on the west side of LA. Not in Westwood, but on the west side.
Jeez.
Okay. You damn sure ain't seeing none in Beverly Hills.
No, remember that brother that set one up in Hollywood and they was harassing him? He had set a little house up right there.
Yeah, they
yes, sir.
I blame the media
I put
for that brother's removal.
Because I got that story and I threw it up on my wall, and I also threw it up on the like page as well too, for the podcast Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. And then I did show the one of the man on Lancashire, and that's LA, but he was in a valley where he was shitting and pissing in public, and he was throwing his shit at people. Yeah.
I would have loved
passing by. Okay. You can go up on my wall. You can go up on the like page of Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, Lady J, and you could pull it up. Yeah, I put it up there for that reason.
I'm all about standing your ground, okay? By any means necessary. Stand your ground.
Okay, so then the lapdogs, with their bullshit, they go out there, well, we got services we want to offer you. And the people told the LAPD, rightfully so, no. The reason being, because if you would have said, yeah, they're going to ask for your driver's license, and they're going to run a make on you.
That's right, yes, go to jail.
Oh, yeah. And then I'm happy to report that Villanueva is no longer the sheriff of Los Angeles County.
Yeah.
They got rid of his ass.
So who replaced him?
Okay, I will have that information in the next couple of days.
One of the racist ones? Alleged racist ones?
Yeah, Villanueva was something else. Okay. Lee Baca was worse than that, because Lee Baca was having people in there falsely incarcerated for 6 months. Oh, well, he just got lost in the system. We can't find him.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what's going on in our city.
That's why
and I think
I'm the only one that said they're going to put an office in the fucking city jail.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got to be kept an eye on, man. I would be happy to sit in the office in the up there in the upper where all the cameras are, and be like yelling down from the microphone. Hey!
Yeah, the control booth, as they call it, that we all are familiar with. You know what I mean?
You don't goddamn know you call for that, deputy. That's it. Go ahead and file that paperwork. Bring your ass up here.
Yeah.
You're fired. I want to be on the mic. I want to be on the mic and be like, Deputy Johnson.
Okay.
That's it. It's a wrap for you. I saw you put your hands on that brother, not once, but 3 separate times in one night. Get your motherfucking ass out of here.
Hey, here's one for you.
Get the fuck out of here.
Now, out there in the 77th Division of the LAPD on camera, that the LAPD was beating this man, and they struck him at least 24 times, and he was handcuffed. And they just kept beating him. and
Oh my
beating them.
God.
They're showing all
And
kinds of
beating
stuff.
them.
To his brother in Carl Springs.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, and you could tell that this sadistic son of a bitch who was inflicting this punishment on his man, is that he enjoyed what he was doing.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
City of Los Angeles, from what I understand, that these individuals are supposed to do psychological backgrounds.
Prior to.
Yeah, prior to.
And this son, and this son of a bitch was clearly a sadist, meaning that he got great pleasure out of beating this man. Now, a boy who just passed on, John Lewis, he was masochistic.
Who
loves to get beat up on. Just beat me again. Just beat me again.
Thank you, Master.
Edmund Pettis Bridge. Knock the shit out of him. Yeah. This is good trouble.
Good trouble.
Man, it mind boggles me when you hear motherfuckers say, "We just go get a little good trouble." What the fuck is good trouble? Just a little good trouble. What the fuck is good trouble?
Yeah. I mean,
trouble or you're good. Like, there's no in between. There's no gray area. You know what I mean?
Right. And then as Malcolm X says, this systemic social injustice towards our people. Okay. And then a few blocks from where I'm at right now, they had a graduate there in the year 1959 who stated that he was a functional illiterate. This man went on to get bachelor's degrees, master's degree, and got a PhD. Who made the statement? Okay, who made the statement on the Sally Jesse Raphael show? And he had stated that any time that you take away the slave image of the black male, you're going to scare white people.
Terrence would be considered a functioning illiterate.
Terrence is a
No, that's what Dr. Newton said in his autobiography, Revolutionary Suicide.
That was hilarious.
That nigga is a crack.
No, I read the book.
It's a crack.
And the book that I read was Revolutionary Suicide by Dr. Huey Percy Newton.
Crack, baby. That's even funnier.
And I'm sure, Lady Che, you saw my live feed that I did of the statue that they made to him over there, not too far away from where he got killed. And as a matter of fact, Brother Che, it was you that alerted me of the mural that was being painted over there in Oakland of the women of the Black Panther Party.
Yes.
And I got some pictures of that. And I went up there and I asked the person who was painting this if I take pictures. They said, by all means, the damn news have been here. I don't see no reason why you can't. You know? And that there's right across the street.
Like, yes, by all means, this is a work of art. Yeah. They're like, fuck that.
And which it is. See, which it is. And then those who say they subscribe to the doctrine, you know, of the 10-point program.
Yeah, of course.
You got to take a trip to Oakland.
Right.
Me personally, I don't give a good goddamn if you come here and just stay 12 hours.
Right.
Stay 2 hours.
Right. But you got to come.
But go to Defemery Park.
Yeah.
Right.
Go to the statue of Dr. Newton.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the Alameda County Courthouse.
Yeah, I wanted to see all that stuff the last time I was there.
I've been there.
I just got to go to Berkeley and what is it called?
Oh yeah.
Been there,
yeah, Brother Che, because I was supposed to rendezvous with you up there at Berkeley because they was gonna have that stinking ass Ann Coulter up there. Mm-hmm. And I'd wanted to do a live feed to cuss that raggedy motherfucker out. You know what I mean? I mean, how dare with her stinking ass, she's gonna board a flight of I forgot the name of the airline, And I'm not gonna mention the name of the airline unless they drop a donation on us. You know what I'm saying? We'd be more than happy to mention them.
We get no plugs over here.
And the flight crew were 3 black women.
Mm-hmm.
The pilot was a black woman. Her co-pilot was a black woman.
Mm-hmm.
And the navigator was a black woman.
Hey.
And Ann Coulter, with her stinking ass, is gonna say she needs to change flights because these women is incompetent.
What?
And with the stupid ass broad did not realize that all of these women were war veterans that fought in the war for the United States, and plus that they were aviators.
Wowzers, man. Shit just gets wilder and wilder.
Exactly. Oh yeah. And then, and as we say,
like, oh, heifer,
you know, is that we don't hate you. We're looking at your history, white America, toward us. You can only kick a dog so many times.
Well, I was at MacArthur. I was at the MacArthur BART station.
Okay, and of course, you know, I did a live feed from the MacArthur BART station where Little Mia was killed at. Say, and then the sad part about it is, I did my live feed. They had a memorial tour, and I said on the live feed, well, how was this son of a bitch able to walk away?
Right.
How was he able to get up out of there? You see? And that's the part that got me. You know?
Let's move on for a little bit and see what else we got going on over here. Cause
sure.
Let's see what else cracking off in Denver, because this shit is lately they're asking for more volunteers. And they didn't ask for no volunteers.
Out over downtown Denver. It is calm and quiet because it is super early still. Thank you so much for waking up early with us. I appreciate it. I'm Anusha here along with Keely. Got out in the afternoon with a little bit of sunshine yesterday, and it wasn't terrible.
Not too bad. It was still chilly, no doubt. It was chilly. And today warmer, so we're going to make it up into so quite a for today. Lots of sunshine out there.
Bam, scroll ahead.
We looked up a hurtful, and asked her who and where, and she clearly pretty much stated who it was and where it came from. And as soon as the police showed up, I reiterated everything to them.
So the woman was taken to the hospital. People living in the area were under that shelter-in-place order for a few hours as officers were searching for the suspect, who they say took off. They have a lawsuit filed by Camacho, deputy, to get a bigger restraint to accommodate swelling in his leg. Then Deputy Andrew Buin walks up and tackles him. Buin is currently facing second-degree murder charges for the 19 case. Buin claims Camacho turned to him in a threatening way and then took a video shows the deputy has a pattern of using excessive force.
And that deputy needs to be arrested and placed into the county jail with the general population.
Inmate was simply asking for a larger shackle for his deformed left leg.
Deformed left leg.
Camacho, the sheriff's office.
And that's the Denver County Sheriff, Mr. Mayor.
Yep.
They couldn't comment on the size of that settlement until.
Yep, that's Diggins.
And the deputies indicated that they are ready to pay Camacho a settlement. The county told us that they couldn't comment on the size of that
formed left leg.
Camacho
okay, I got a question.
And says he told detectives.
Go ahead.
city want immune to be disciplined. Records show that did not happen.
Okay.
This week,
My
attorneys for the
question
county and the
is,
deputies indicated
why
that they're
should
ready
the
to face a miraculous
taxpayers
settlement. The county
of the
told us that they
city and
couldn't
county
comment
of
on the size of
Denver
that settlement
have to
until it
pay
was
for
approved
that
by the
officer's
court.
transgression?
The city of Denver
Why
says
don't
that
the
it does need some
fucking
more help
court
right now. It is looking
go
for
tell
medical
that
and
officer,
non-medical volunteers.
get your house deed, get your certificate of titles for your vehicles, all your bank accounts, okay, all your real estate holdings, all your assets, and give them to that man right there and put that deputy in a cardboard box and let his ass be unhoused.
That would make total sense because then they would stop doing half the shit they do. You know what I mean? Especially when they stop
Precisely.
I mean, that would make total sense.
And then that way, and then make an example out of his ass. And just like I believe the family of Mr. Castile. Wait a minute, let me make sure I got it right now. Because I don't know if it's Mr. Grant's family here, what happened here in Oakland, or Mr. Castile's family of what happened in Minneapolis, well, with George Floyd, or with Mr. Castile. I'm sorry, Mr. Castile was the
Philando Castile.
Yeah,
that was Josh's cousin.
Okay, and that's the gentleman that was shot in the car with his baby in the back seat next to his wife.
Yeah, that's
Diamond Reynolds.
That's Christian Marta's cousin. Yep.
Oh man! Of course, our condolences to him.
Yes.
Yeah. Say condolences to him.
Terrible.
And then they let that officer. What was that officer's name? That killed him.
Castillo. That was Yanez.
Yeah, Yanez. Yanez.
Yeah, he was Asian.
Okay, Yanez. Okay. All right. So it seems to me that he should be stripped of all his assets, going to the family of Mr. Castile. Just like what happened to the brother down there in Louisiana. From what I understand. Yeah. Okay. You see now you see what's happening here, Brother Che, is that the list is building up so much is that we're forgetting the names. Alan Buford here in Oakland.
Yep, Al Buford. Yep. Oscar Grant.
Ezell Ford in Los Angeles.
Oscar Grant in Oakland.
Yeah.
Who was the other brother? It was so many. It's hard to keep up with.
Yeah. In other words, the point that I'm making is now it is coming commonplace for our people to die at the hands of the police.
I mean, we didn't even talk about the motherfucker that got shot like 90 fucking times this last summer.
Javon.
You know what I mean?
Jalen Walker.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about him. Like, what happened with that? You know?
Okay, and what about the young man? Okay, now what about the young man they shot in Vallejo, California, you know, where they put 50 bullets through his windshield?
Oh my God. That was damn, I forgot his fucking name.
This is terrible shit, man. This is terrible right here.
Oh God. I can't remember his name now. But yeah, that was ridiculous.
Like this.
Okay, then of course you know about the case of Taisha Miller in the mid 1990s in San Bernardino County, right? Or no, Riverside County. I'm sorry, in Riverside. Okay, now the problem with that case is right there, and of course our hearts go out to her family. But from what I understand is that there was a firearm involved that Ms. Miller had either within reach or on her lap. But what it was is that she was asleep in the car, or she did not respond to them knocking on the door, okay, of her vehicle, and they put, you know, they emptied their clips in the young woman, And there's that sick ass sack of shit by the name of Daryl Gates said in his autobiography in regard to the Eula Love murders by the Los Angeles Police Department in Los Angeles, where the officer says, oh, well, I shot 3 or 4 times. And then to find out that both the clips of 9mm were empty. And Gates tries to rationalize this. Oh, well, we call this rapid fire syndrome. No, what happened is that once those officers got in that act of killing someone, they were bloodthirsty.
Yep.
Understand?
Yeah. Oh,
they
I
were
remember the
bloodthirsty.
name now. So the brother that got shot 55 times in Vallejo. That was Willie McCoy.
Okay, Willie McCoy?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
They shot him 55. They fired 55 shots in 3.5 seconds.
So how many officers was around him?
They killed him quicker than they killed Tamir Rice. Jesus.
Okay. Okay, so for him to get those amount of rounds in that short time in him, then that means it had to have been more than 9 officers firing at the same time.
6.
6?
Yep.
All right, so let me see. 6 times, wait a minute. What is it on a 9? Okay. 9, wait a minute. 1 up and 15 down, I think.
It's usually 10 bullets. 8 to 10 bullets in a clip.
Okay. And they always keep 1 up in the chamber, as they call it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that there's nothing more than systemic genocide.
One of the officers shot 13 times. Another one shot 12 times. 2 more shot 3 times, 11 times. And another one shot 7 times.
Wow. Wow. That's incredible. That is incredible.
He was
that
only
is
20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He was an aspiring rapper out the Bay, and they killed him, shot him 55 times.
Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. Yeah.
Let's carry on.
Go ahead.
Yeah, moving right along.
As the city's emergency migrant shelters is filling up. 76 more people showed up overnight yesterday. The shelters are now at 66% full. So to date, 872 people have arrived in Denver since December 9th. 380 people are staying in city emergency shelters. 172 are in other shelters run by city partners. So right now, that means there's 552 people in shelters, while the capacity is at 840. Nationally, there was a federal appeals court that denied a request from 19 Republican states to keep Title 42 in place. Title 42 was put in place during the pandemic, and it allowed federal immigration agents to quickly return people to their home countries. Republican state leaders said that lifting that policy would burden their states because of an influx of people. Since Title 42 was enacted in 2020 by the Trump administration, people have been sent back to Mexico around 2.5 million times. Title 42 is set to end Wednesday. The shortage of healthcare workers in rural...
Let's look at this. This
comes to living on the streets.
We was
There's lots.
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah, we're still here, Shabaka.
Where in our day.
I don't know, it's freezing up on my end.
So what we see on a single night is people last year experienced homelessness. What we know over a year is that it's closer to 32,000 unique individuals.
When people come to us and they don't have a place to stay, it also means that they don't have other services.
1 out of 3 foster care youth become homeless on the day they turn 18.
And how things are going.
there's exciting things to happen that I want to talk about.
Depends on who you ask. These leaders say the issue is improving.
Here in Denver, we had over 1,000 hotel rooms at our peak being used for people experiencing homelessness.
Ladies and gentlemen, do we all look like human beings here in this room? Yes.
In downtown Denver, the city also hosted an open mic.
I don't see
that lady mug
going down. I see it right.
One big
sweeps under the 32-degree threshold or 40-degree when it's wet outside.
They say taking people's shelter and belongings when it's cold is dangerous.
But when there's trouble going on, people sleeping in the freezing cold, then I go and I address that problem.
An issue that's not going away. Quite a conversation. In Denver, Nelson
That's
Garcia.
why Jesse was there, and they didn't even. Shame on you, 9 News, for not reporting that.
Yeah.
You were there.
Mm-hmm.
Shame on you. I don't know where that is, Jesse. You gotta find it, but yeah, that's that. Oh. And then we went in. Then I called the full trade.
The state offers financial help as Denver's overwhelmed migrants from the border. Talk to somebody on the ground in El Paso. Good neighbors and smart kept the sunshine fire from being far worse. A botched emergency alert in the suburbs is leading to a worse scenario emergency managers.
I want to make sure I get the right one, not one from 15 miles away.
A legislative leader is leaving after losing a race to lead the state house. We've got a good sign that RSV's worst is behind us. If any of the 25 candidates for Denver mayor are watching, a woman with real experience with poverty wants you to listen to her ideas. Hey, this is your show where you talk to the people in charge and that want to be in charge. This is next.
I want to see what they're talking about.
Migrants are arriving in Denver from the southern border faster than the city. Migrants out from temporary shelters. Those shelters are filling fast. Many of the migrants have said they're up from El Paso. Hager talked with a journalist there who has Colorado roots to get some insight on why Denver has become the destination.
Very much, I think, a humanitarian crisis well underway at this point.
Robert Moore spent part of his journalism career as an editor at the Coloradoan in Fort Collins, but he has spent most of it reporting in El Paso, Texas. And he says he's never seen a situation quite like this.
About 1,500 to 1,800 people a day were being released by the Border Patrol in El Paso. Many of them were able to get to shelters, but increasingly in recent days, we were seeing 500 or 600 people released to the streets.
Leaders there are swamped.
They're scrambling to get emergency shelters and to make sure that the funding is there to pay for them.
In Denver, a much smaller version of the same crisis. More migrants are arriving each day than are moving on from emergency shelters here. 175 arrived overnight Tuesday. 101 more added to the emergency shelter count. Why are they coming here?
I think it has a good airport and good transportation hubs. That's the main thing. I don't think for most of the people, the end destination is Denver.
Moore says they may also be getting some help from non-governmental organizations, NGOs, on the ground in El Paso.
But I think you still are probably seeing some NGO activity that's not chartering buses, but really helping people who want to get there and afford tickets to get to Denver so that they
whatever I said bad.
As El Paso scrambles to prepare for as many as 5,000.
You can't do that in a regular shelter as a brother. If you go to a shelter, try to see if you can use your phone and just chill right there by a plug. See what happens.
Can't do that.
You'll be fighting all night. You're gonna stash your phone in your motherfucking drawers and shit. Keep it safe from being stolen. You know what I mean? You're kicking it like that.
Real shit.
Real shit.
Era immigration policy and
you know, take off your shoes and shit in the motherfucking rescue mission. Yeah, right. As a brother, yeah, right.
It's on the last episode of the Frontline Black News, like you say. I think it's on the last episode of the Frontline Black News.
I'm telling you right now, I know for a fact there's none of this going on at the rescue mission upstairs. None of this. Motherfucker, like, put your socks, shoes on. None of this, okay?
Today we learned that the governor met with
None
clergy
of
last
this.
week asking for help finding housing.
This is a case of desperate
Hey,
people
you just get up and go to the bathroom, man. Your
trying
shit
to
is
come
gone.
north
Your
to
bed
make
is
for a better
gone.
life for their families, and encourage everybody not to lose sight of the humanity here.
So I talked to the emergency manager in El Paso County, Colorado today, who told me they haven't seen an influx of migrants in Colorado Springs, but they're ready for it should Trump-era immigration policy Title 42 come to an end. He says that they are in talks to potentially support Denver should the city need more help in its emergency shelters. But all of that is still being worked out. They got to figure out if they have the right people there who might be able to help in Denver. It needs to be someone with some sort of shelter training to be able to come in and help out the city.
What?
Because eventually the city's going to get to a
They didn't do that for our unhoused during COVID or none of that shit.
point where they simply don't have beds for people. So it looks like it's that second stage of where does somebody...
I don't know, Kyle. I think we've been saying that all fucking winter, all like spring and fall or whatever. There's no room in the shelters. They don't have any beds. They don't have any beds to house our people. Don't let me roll that green footage back.
Let me share my screen.
Huh?
Let me share my screen.
If you must. If you must. You didn't let me share the screen earlier. Where's it at?
Go from that emergency shelter.
I'm just saying, Jesse. I'm just saying. What are you trying to show?
In my speech.
You interrupted Kyle Clark for your speech.
The one I said, I don't know where it is.
Yeah, but that was like 10 minutes ago. I moved on. I moved on, Jesse. I moved on.
10 minutes ago.
Oh, God. Yes, it was. 8 minutes ago.
I'm going to sleep after this.
Good. That way I can do whatever I want to do. Carry on. Oh, yeah, you did a really good job, man. Shame on you, 9 News, for not highlighting this. And you were only right in front of him. They were only right in front of you. That was only one person behind you. Not that speech. Yeah, that was an okay speech. Couldn't really hear it, but that was a decent speech. This is a terrible day, Jesse. That day was so much revelation. You know?
Yeah, let's pull it up.
Damn, that's a lot of windows. I don't even know how many windows I got open. It's starting to look like yours, though. I'm going to start taking mine down right now while you're sitting here. I better feel embarrassed.
Here it is.
Haters. Oh my god. Oh my god, man. I'm glad we missed that lady speech. So she want to act like she gonna walk up on somebody. Man, they go. Psh. I was like, "Are you gonna violate my HIPAA rights again?" It's not like you didn't do that already. You know, you gotta walk up on like you gotta do something to me. Cause you see, I was halfway out my shit. Already ready. I was like ready. Like, please, man, that's all you need is for you to do some old Karen shit. Right here. Right here. Thankfully, that didn't happen. But man, I was like, God, why did you walk up on me? You gotta have my Lokes on so nobody could see what I was thinking. Man, I was masked up, so you definitely couldn't see me laughing behind my mask.
Yeah.
Like, oh, go ahead, man. You're in charge. Can you hear it? Okay.
Can you hear it?
A little bit, not really. I'm trying to hear it. Okay.
I don't know how you can't hear it.
Oh, you haven't spoke yet, right? Or no, you are speaking. I can't hear it.
You can't hear it at all. It doesn't make any sense.
I can't hear it.
That don't make no sense. Okay, let me see.
Yeah, you did really good then. Man, that was a long ass walk too. Me and you pictured out too. That was an afternoon of revelations and upset for me. A lot of traitorisms and isms. All right, well, say your goodbye. So, right?
Yeah, I'm going to sleep. Yeah, make sure you check us out every Saturday for Frontline Black News at 10 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Make sure y'all support the campaign, y'all. Black Grassroots Campaign, Black First Campaign, Justice for Denver Mayor, www.jessedenvermayor.com is the website. Support the campaign, support the movement. I'm the only candidate that is going to do anything for our unhoused neighbors. I'm the only candidate that's going to do anything for Black people in the city. So if you care about Black people, if you care about unhoused neighbors, then support the campaign, period. Thank you for having me on your show, Lady Che. You have a good rest of your night or morning. I will catch you on the flip.
Talk to you tomorrow. Peace.
Okay. Peace.
All right, family. Now we can do whatever I want to do. All right. Dad's like, he had to plug himself. One day when I get to run for office, I'm gonna do shameless plugs too, on every chance I get. All right, let's get back to whatever I was talking about. I have to now. I gotta figure it out. Kind of threw me off right there. Let's see. I think I'm just gonna look at this one more thing and then we'll move on to something more interesting. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I was out there.
If the governor's getting involved, and we're talking about obviously other places.
Yeah, and we did ask today, by the way, to the city that is slowly running out of bed space. They're about to open the Denver Coliseum this week for folks to have a larger warming center. We asked if that could be a long-term solution for this crisis. We were told by the city today that that is not part of the plan right now.
Not part of the plan to have the Denver Coliseum house folks coming into town. All right. Thank you, Steve.
I don't believe
the influx of migrants into Denver from the southern border has caused a curious shift in Colorado, and I wonder if you have noticed it too. There's a sudden surge in concern for Coloradans experiencing homelessness. This newfound concern seems to come from some of the same people who recently mocked those living on the street, insulted them, called for them to be herded up and moved along.
Right.
And now we hear we must take care of every American experiencing homelessness before there's any help for migrants. That false choice has already been rejected by the people who are actually in the arena on this, those who are actually working to combat homelessness. So I would respectfully defer to those tireless advocates who are currently working around the clock to help both those experiencing homelessness and the migrants who have recently arrived from the border states.
Man,
You don't hear those folks trying to pit one against the other.
That's not true.
It's not particularly clever or convincing to only embrace the unhoused when it conveniently leaves somebody without a hand to then help a migrant. Firefighters say that they are making good progress against the small fire that's right outside the city of Boulder. The Sunshine Fire is not spreading quickly. It's gone from 16 to 19 acres since yesterday. It's about
the city did what's going on down here. The city has been going on for a minute. They're trying to get rid of the unhoused. They try to sweep them in. They when big things happen like games and sports events, tourism, major concerts, et cetera, et cetera. They move the unhoused all the way as far away from the venues as humanly possible, so that all these little tourists that come in and spend money down here don't have to see the dark, dirty little Denver secret. And now you talk about, well, we can't pit each other, can't pit them. What are you talking about? Let's talk about all this misappropriation of the homeless funds. Let's talk about why you haven't housed any of the unhoused people. Let's talk about all these agencies that have been making all this bread and not doing the work. Let's talk about why nobody can get any services in the downtown area. Trust me, I was just outside literally hours ago, so I had a thoroughly good recounting a review of what I already knew, what I've been saying for the last fucking 2 years. So no, what do you mean? What? They wouldn't take care of the unhoused. You had all these activists talking about you got for the unhoused, and what happens? Nothing, get ignored. But now let an influx of migrants that they know about come in, and everybody just jumps up to the plate. So yeah, that shit is wrong. Of course it's wrong. It was wrong when the mayor decided he wanted to criminalize everybody at Union Station all summer long, and then nobody still sees where those people are. You know what I mean? Because they're doing drugs, or they're just trying to stay warm, or they're combative. Like if you didn't create this problem in the first place, none of this stuff would be going on. It's just another create a problem to fix a problem, to create another problem to fix a problem. So they were constantly in a revolving door, and nobody's paying attention to all this money and resources going out, and we're just distracted. Right. And then you got philanthropists going out and being vigilantes, snitching, and fucking got whole apps to criminalize the unhoused. You know what I mean? And let's just roll that beautiful bean footage back to what I saw in Arapahoe County. Let me see if they have it up here. Arapahoe County. It might be on the actual news thing. Let me see. Let's see. It might be on here. Might be on here already. Okay, here we go. Let's look at this shit. This shit is crazy right here.
Arapahoe County plans to provide housing for homeless inmates and others in the criminal justice system.
Denver 7, Brandon and Rich, the homelessness, they have no to take them.
Speak to Arapahoe County Commissioner Nancy Jackson for just a few minutes, and you'll quickly learn she's passionate about certain topics.
And I can talk about this forever.
Including finding housing for people in the criminal justice system.
The issue is that folks who are in the justice system, if they are released without housing, chances of them recidivating is pretty high.
Arapahoe County officials say 21% of people booked in jail this year were homeless, compared to 15% in 2018. A county report also showed homeless inmates were 58% more likely to return to jail compared to other inmates.
Sometimes they're ready when they get out of jail. Sometimes they're not, but give them time, help them trust a lot of these issues.
To keep them off the streets and out of trouble, Arapahoe County wants to spend $3 million to build housing that could accommodate 80 to 100 people, including those just released from jail and those participating in court-related programs. Money for the project would come from COVID relief funding, and the county has already selected a developer, Brothers Redevelopment, a nonprofit that manages apartments across Colorado, like this one here in Denver.
But it's certainly going to fill a big need in Arapahoe County.
The nonprofit's president, Jeff Martinez, told me they're looking for a site to build on or an existing building to rehab.
We're also looking to find some partners who can help us provide services that the future tenants of that community will need.
Jackson says she's hopeful the state will help pay for the project that she says will benefit everyone.
If we take care of these folks, it will make a safer, happier, better community for everybody.
And she says that's something worth being passionate about. In Arapahoe County, Brandon Richard, Denver.
So, like, Arapahoe County moves a lot faster than everyone. They're not playing
their
around.
right mind wouldn't go there.
What's going on right here?
Larry and Julie Kozan call the motel from where their daughter was murdered.
Yeah.
Deputies are called to the Primrose
man.
Motel on Federal Boulevard
That
hundreds
first
of times
Newsbreak
a year.
article I read
It's been the
was, like,
scene of two
crazy.
murders, numerous drug busts, and countless arrests.
Arapahoe
The
County
motel remains open for business.
Denver 7 investigative reporter
They also
Jennifer
don't have no
Kovaleski has done a
shelters
lot of digging to
for
find out
townhouse.
why the motel is still open despite years of complaints and
For some
violent
reason,
crimes.
I don't know what
It
they're doing
brought
right
up
over
emotions
there,
that I
but
hadn't had in a
nobody
long
wants to
time.
be like Denver.
Almost 8 years later, it's still hard for the Cozads to talk about.
We do try
As,
and not think about
I don't know house people.
that we went through.
They're just these people thought of
There were
themselves
starts and
away,
ends
like,
at the Primrose Motel.
so
They
they're not
suffer in
the way, I
the
guess.
love seat that was there.
There's
Cut the
still no
cushions out,
shelter
stuffed
down
her
there.
in that.
Larry Kozad's 31-year-old daughter, Abby, was murdered at the Adams County Motel in June of 2015. She was beaten, sexually assaulted, and stuffed in a couch.
It makes me really angry. Sitting here 8.5 years later, and knowing that other families were
That's not
suffering.
long. Okay, so yeah, not that I didn't want to hear it, but I'm like, last time I checked, that place is still open, like last year. Hold on one second. Let me clear this out. Hold on, family. Let's stop this right here because I get my little program together. Okay, comments. Let me see who's up here. What the fuck? No nasty little spam blockers. Blocking. I don't know why. Who does that? All right. Give me 1 second. Let's see what else we want to talk about. I wanted to talk about this one chick. I want to talk about the mayoral race, but really, I just wanted to talk about Leslie Herod. And I guess she took out petitions and she already turned them in. Apparently, same thing like with the donations. She had her 250 donations right then and there, ready to go. And then she got the ballot petition signed, allegedly. But at that event that Jesse showed, there was people what are you talking about? People volunteering for her. Yeah, I was like, whoa. There's a lot of people out there doing the devil's work. To read Jesse. But they were collecting signatures for her and her and the other woman running, and then this article came out, and I was highly amused, highly amused because let me see, I was like, dude, I knew there was something wrong with this shit, and put my finger on it, and I'm like, why hasn't anybody why hasn't the news got a hold of this yet? Hold on a sec. Mayor. Just have to look it up on the actual news break. That shit was funny as hell. I'm not gonna lie, I was laughing my ass off. I thought that shit was amazingly funny. Like, how the fuck, you know what I mean? Especially like when we voted for you to stay your ass in the motherfucking state house. Like we just didn't want you to play musical motherfucking chairs and lose your spot. You know what I mean? We just want we didn't want you to move around and get up from your house seat only to not win the mayor's seat and be without no money or anything. Just try to do you a solid. What are you thinking? You know what I mean? Let's see. Let's see who else is running. Your full article. Okay, let's see. Oh God. All right. Let's share. Sharing, family. Sharing. Now Jesse's not here, so we can talk about this. I like to talk about the some of the candidates by myself. Yeah, it says I think it's amusing. Experiences. Okay, advocate. Here we go. Okay. I read fast, everybody, so stay with me. Let's see. Full article, original website. Okay. I hope everybody can see it. I'm talking to myself, I can't see what you guys see, so just keep typing in and give me a minute. So let me zoom this up. Because I read hella fast. Okay. Fuck. Alright. Let's see if we watch the video. Okay. Who is it? Hey, there's my Jesse. Oh, thank God. Why the fuck would you do that to me, though? Why does it matter if she's not running? Like, really? Why in the hell would that matter? I was hoping they were going to get to some serious shit right there. Like, you know what I mean? I don't give a damn who's not running. Let's get to the actual serious meat and potatoes of the can you guys see that? Let's see. This is make sure we're sharing everything. It said meth detected in air ducts of Boulder's main library. Jesus. Okay. Let's see. I want to get to the Okay. Oh, let's see if I find it. It's different when I'm looking at the there's an advocate for accessibility as mirror. It's different when I'm looking at my tablet than when I'm looking at the actual computer website. Because this shit just seems like it's all in the same color. Nothing stands out. And I read super, super fucking fast. Speed reader. Fun fact, speed reader. And I have like a little special read with the peripherals of like skilled. Been reading like that since science teacher taught me, but I've been actually reading pretty fucking fast since I was small. With inflictions, everything. I make reading fun. Make reading fun. I'll find it right here. This broad rash. 2 seconds. I promise you it'll be 2 seconds. Okay, hold on a second, family. I should have to pull it up on the tablet. Because I thought that was hilarious. See me? Okay. I know I didn't skip it. It just looks like that, right? See? Okay, calm down, little speed reader. Yeah, that's enough. Okay, it's on the thing. All right. Sorry about that. I think I saved it. They got all kinds of interesting articles on the actual tablet. Like, I'll show you the tablet right now. It's just like booming, like majorly interesting shit right here versus what we were just looking at. Let's see. Come on. Following. Go right here. Okay. Right here. I'm about to get it right now. I wish they just point out everything that I thought was a rip. You know what I mean? Everything I thought was cool, they should just pull up. You know what I mean? How to say? Because on Newsbreak, it's not like you just type the shit in, because that would be easy. Nothing. It seems like when I want to look for something, everything is just a little bit harder. Let's see. Oh my God. Come on, seriously? Denver mayor race. Here we go. See. Watch it in. Our family. I wish somebody could get on and be like, "You're looking in the wrong space, Brandy." You know what I mean? Wrong spot. You need to look over here. Like, oh yeah, where? Show me. No, wrong area. That would be tight. Why don't you just type it in? That would have been cool, but apparently. Okay, here we go. Talking politics. Let's go. How you even have something and then not have something? People suck. Alright. Here we go. Okay. Stick with Denver. Denver politics. One second, family. Like I had it pulled up, and then I was looking at it yesterday, and I was trying to show Jesse, and he didn't want to hear it. So I was like, man, just when I want to talk about it, and then I was like I said, I was out in the street today. I was actually out there, like doing my due diligence, because this was fucking crazy, man. Like, you guys only knew. Okay, here we go. There you go, man. See, you gotta find the history. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Where are we at? Okay. There we go. Let's see. Okay. I didn't really like this this dude who wrote this article. At all. I think that this was an opinion based. That's probably why I didn't like it. But I'm gonna read you this article real quick. I'm gonna read this article. All right. Okay, nobody's chatting. Okay, cool. All right. Let's see. Dude writes it. Denver mayoral circus begins. Okay, I'm skipped like they ain't talking about shit. We already know there's like 25 people. 25 people. It said 22 individuals have announced their candidacy. What did you write this, cuz? Oh, this is 16th. Okay. Jesus. Obviously behind. Let's see. I'm talking about Kelly Bruh, former longtime president and CEO, Denver Metro Chamber of Commerce, the former chief of staff for then our mayor, John Hickenlooper, to the great annoyance of Channel 9, Marshall Zillinger. Some white men have already announced their running, including Chris Hansen, who represent both Denver and Glendale in the state Senate, and Mike Johnston, who also has represented Northeast Denver State Senate and ran for governor till John Hickenlooper entered the race. Zillinger indicated that he did not feel comfy with white men running when women and persons of color, whatever that means, had already entered the race. More than a few Channel 9 viewers noted that as a white man himself, Zillinger should resign to provide an opportunity. He let them sucker them out of it. Opportunity for women and persons of color to occupy a comfy position at Channel 9. Do any of the candidates care about the ever-increasing cost of living in Denver beyond housing? Yes, obviously there is one person that actually does. Do any of them care about the quality of life for the average Denverite and not just the ever-growing army of the homeless? Yes, one person actually does. Do any of them care about ever-diminishing parks and open space? Yes, one person does. Do any of them have any plans to bring back downtown from the wreckage that it has become? Yes, unfortunately, there was a 3-day motherfucking boot camp, and we learned about the fucking philanthropy and vigilante shit. So we're currently up on that. And yes, we do care. Denver was once a beautiful city with an enormous number of parks, open spaces, as well as wonderful neighborhoods. Denver was far from perfect, but it only took 12 years of Hancock to destroy much of it. Next mayor be just another mayor like Lori Lightfoot. Sounds like somebody was listening to the New Black Media. Weird. Of Chicago or another developer whore like Hancock. Ooh. Or will someone arise who is better and different over the next 90 days? We will be looking intently if such person exists, and we hope you do the same. Obviously, because you're not paying attention. So they put Thomas Wolfe, Lisa Calderon, Terrence Roberts, Leslie Herod, Debbie Ortega, Chris Hansen, and Kelly Bro. I just want to look at it's just I'm sorry if Black Valley look. It's like stop. Guys, let me stop. What the fuck is going on right here? What the fuck? Who told me you could use this high school picture? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. That was funny as hell. All right, let me see. I want to get to her, man. Where she did something egregious, man. Like something really bad. We're not gonna talk about Trinidad James. Trinidad, whatever the fuck his name is. Trinidad Rodriguez. He's just like another. He's like the Spanish version of Eric Adams. Real shit. Like them. He's just right there. He's ready to banish homelessness. Let me see. I think most of these motherfuckers really are. If you allowed them to, they would really get rid of it. They would get rid of a lot of things. Let's see. Where is it? Probably can each picking on the migrants. Children to participate communities announce. Let's see. Rural Mayor, City Council, Johnson and Wales. Man, that's terrible. My kid wanted to go to Johnson and Wales for culinary arts, and right when the pandemic hit, I think they closed it down. And after that, it's been like empty since, and she never wanted to go back to college after that. I was like, geez, that is really bad. I've been trying to talk her to go back into college for like 2 years now. She does not want to go back. She only wanted to go to that school. She refused to go anywhere else. Ooh, okay. Ooh. Let's read this right here. To Colorado GOP activists declare war on their own party of whores. Call out for ousting leadership. Who wrote this? Is it opinion or no? Let's see. December 1st, huh? I'm just like, damn, they even put that out there like that. That they're just gonna they're calling the government whores and all this stuff, like reckless. Yeah, that's the type of language you didn't think you'd ever hear out of activists and whatnot in front of the government. I mean, it's like, it doesn't really surprise me, but it's kind of funny. It's like all of a sudden they're putting it in the newspaper. Man, why can't I find it? Is it right after here? Let's tell you how much reading of Newsbreak I'm doing is ridiculous, because I had to go through all the history just to find this one damn article about how she owes money. You know what I mean? That's all it's about, like $15,000 or some shit. I was like, I have to go through all of this. And as I say, I couldn't fathom how funny that was to me. You know what I mean? It's like, damn. But nobody jumped on it. None of the news networks jumped on it. And I was like, why? That shit is hilarious. Like, because ultimately when she jumped in, she everything was like overnight. Like, it kind of seems it's not that I don't want to say it's not like she's doing the work or nothing like that. I don't want to say it sounds like I'm being a hater or anything like that. It just seems kind of like, damn, everybody's out there busting their ass, allegedly. You know what I mean? And this broad did it in like fucking less than 48 hours. Same thing with the 250 fucking donations. We're busy getting shadow banned and not getting our shit halfway accepted. This is in like that. But yet, you know what I mean? And I'm like, man. No, that's my cousin down there. Oh my god, I can't find it. I have to really actually look for it, because I doubt it got taken off. Like, But that would be that shit because all these people are like bought and paid for. So it wouldn't surprise me if that shit wasn't on there no more. You know what I mean? Oh, let's see. Okay. Nope, this isn't it. Just wish everything was just like fucking right there. Everybody's let's see. Okay, yeah, I'm alright. I give up. Yeah, apparently she owes money or something like that, or she owed money, and I think she took care of it or something like that. But regardless, I was like, God, I wish I could find it because then you guys could really see what I was talking about. Recommended. This is Denver. Denver. Yeah, you can see it because it was hilarious, but I doubt it got taken down because it wouldn't surprise me, but I would hope it didn't, and I would hope somebody's seen it because I thought it was fucking hilarious. Because I was like, man, look, everybody was, oh, she's gonna take it. She has to win, and so they don't, like everybody's running their own shit. You know what I mean? And it kind of sounds like I'm being a hater, but I'm not really being a hater. It's like I just want to know how it's possible. And what did you do? You just line. What if somebody said no? You just lining up people. You just had your shit together like that, huh? Like you just had your shit together, where everybody else is just, not struggling. Everybody's doing their thing, right? You just had it all together. You did. Just you. You're the only one, right? I'm like, come on now, this shit don't even sound right. Sound like some other shit, you know. And we were at this event, like I said, me and Jess were at this event, and I think he only had like maybe a day or so, maybe two. I can't remember when. I can't remember. Okay, maybe 2 or 3 days. Don't quote me on it, family, because don't quote me on it. Maybe 2 or 3 days with gathering petitions, and we've been super busy, right? So that's like two maybe 3 days. So when we got to this event, I called Teresa Trader because she was doing petitions for Old Girl, right? And I was like, man, of all the things, you know what I mean? There's a reason why I called her a traitor. Like, I don't even want to get into it right now. But, like, I've been known her a long time. And I'm like, man, it's not the same thing in consideration for how long you known and worked with and did work with Jesse for God knows how long. Went on motherfucking trips, do all kinds of work for the unhoused for like God knows how many years, and y'all tokenized them and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. No way, no fucking way can you convince me of this motherfucking lie. Period. So I did it. I couldn't control myself. Well, not that I couldn't control myself. I don't even have an excuse for it. I was just like, that's real traitor shit. You're a traitor. Right? Not that she was doing it, it's just the way that they said that they wouldn't endorse him. They, this is like 2 years before he even did it, before he even wanted to be the mayor. They couldn't get behind a candidate, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. A whole bunch of other motherfucking off-brand reasons 2 years prior, okay? So that just shows to me that was some other bullshit. So I had to say it. I didn't even hold back. It came out so freely, it was ridiculous. So you're a traitor. That's a real traitor shit. I mean, I know her long. Sure. You try to convince somebody else of that fucking lie. Like, what do I look like, man? I know better. I know way better. Too much better. You know what I mean? No fucking way. Then I called Jerry a traitor too, but at least he attempted to make it right. Why did I say it was? Why did I say that? Is because it was. I could care less if she wanted to help us or not. Real shit, I could care less. Just the fact that she said it was like, yeah, that's some traitor shit. I could care less if she wanted to help her or not. Like, I just felt like, after all that stuff that you said 2 years back, how you didn't, because he wanted to run for political office. Denver Always Out Loud couldn't get behind a candidate. Woo 2 years prior, and now you know what's going on. You seem to jump in on all these little board meetings and whatnot to talk about your shit. But when it comes time to work on these projects of unhoused stuff, like I got it on camera, she kind of giggled and she didn't want to do it. Again, for like the 15th fucking time, I got it on camera or I got it on audio where she's like, yeah, okay, you can read. I'm like, no, I'm being serious. Like, let's do some stuff. Like, really, let's get this handled. Okay, well, what do you know? And then I'm like, I'm like, no, I'm being serious. Like, again, I'm being serious. I already know, like, there's no convincing me of this. Like, they don't want to, work with me or whatever, especially whatever the fuck's going on with them. That's a them problem, not a Brandy problem. That is a problem they have. I don't have a problem with working for the greater cause of taking care of our black people, our unhoused people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean? I have no problems with anybody who wants to do the fucking work, step up to the fucking plate and actually get the shit done. You know what I mean? This is Denver resident advocacy for I don't have no problem with it. But when you start playing these motherfucking games and acting like you want to, you act like you want to, but when it comes time to do it, you don't want to. You're just playing this game, or you don't want to, or just say you just don't want to work with me. You'll work with some pink face or something else that you feel like it. You can't say, oh, well, then we know Jesse. Oh, no, yeah, you do, right? But I remember when I was in house, y'all did so much for me, too. I happened to throw those little caveats out there, like, I remember when you helped me, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, try to be, polite and whatnot. Oh, thank you. Bitch. Oh, stupid man. Okay, yes. Okay, yes. And that was a true statement. You know what I mean? But it's also true is that they're selectively racist. You know what I mean? And it's a real thing. Selectively racist. Like, oh, we'll do something for this person if it meets my agenda or if it behooves me. But when, like, for example, I'll give you an example. When I got a house, okay? I got a house. And I ran into Jesse when we were at the Fusion one time, right? And I was like, hey, man, Teresa, I keep telling her I'm available to come speak at the courthouse, whoop-de-whoop-de-wham, right? And she's like, I said, but she keeps blowing me off about this shit. I said, is it me or is this kind of like racial? Like, that's how, I swear to God, that's how I said it to him. And what did he say? He said, yeah, because it's racist. I was like, I knew it. Why? Because I this motherfucker could feel racism fucking a mile away. I think I should know by now what it feels like for only being a motherfucking victim of motherfucking circumstance for like God knows how long. At least long enough so that I left my motherfucking house and been outside. Okay? So I know for a fact. I was like, man, that's kind of crazy. Why do you think she is? I said, is it because I got housed? Yeah, because it's clearly racist because you got housed. So if I was homeless, then you're of value to them. Damn. So it's like that? It's like that. Right? So now the motherfucker is housed, been housed, and wants to be of service to the motherfucking city. They don't want to be bothered unless they can, be bothered because, of course, they know Jesse. It's whatever, right? I don't give a fuck about all that. I'm trying to do the work. You know what I mean? I can't find it. All right, family, I'm about to give up. I gotta give up. We'll never get nowhere. You know what I mean? So I was like, this is fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, clearly fucked up. Like, I'm not wrong, family. I'm not wrong at all. Not at all. But I was like, dude, this is clearly some other shit. And so when I called her a racist, I didn't call her racist. I called her a traitor. I don't feel like there was anything wrong with that statement whatsoever. Because that's really what the fuck it was. At all. I don't feel like there was anything wrong with that. Because I was like, and she's like, I'm not a traitor. Well, what else would you call it? And it's not that, it's like I said, it has nothing to do with the fact that you want to volunteer for whoever you like. It's the fact that you had all these rules and stipulations 2 years ago, and nothing has changed at all. You still see him every fucking Monday at City Council. Every Monday, every fucking Monday, dude. Every Monday, he's still saying he's gonna be the fucking mayor. Every fucking Monday, okay? Every Monday, he's still fighting racism and white supremacy. Okay? Every Monday. It doesn't fail, right? He said that he's make sure everybody understands that they lie, they gotta keep their fucking integrity, every fucking Monday. It doesn't end, okay? And so there's no real fucking excuse. There's no excuse whatsoever for this. No excuse. What I was looking for, God, man. I was really looking for it. Like, she just did an interview too. It's like this brought us everywhere, but nobody's talking about what happened the other day. I was like, come on, man, let me find it, because not like I'm just bringing it up, because when I was still like, why the fuck was she on the motherfucking ballot? Why was she on the ballot for her position, and then continued to be on the ballot for fucking what do you call it, the mayor? Oh yeah, that's what she's doing, the old Club Q shit. Like we're not gonna talk about the Club Q thing, because that was Black Family, that was a motherfucking step over black people, period. Yeah, matter of fact, fuck it, let's talk about it real quick. Which they haven't really talked about it lately, and I'm kind of glad about it. But they wanted to, it's like little hate bills and whatnot. I was like, man, and sure enough, they're getting money, and it kind of like disappeared it for the migrants, but oh yeah, they're it's a hate crime. This is a hate crime. This is. And I was like, oh my god, dude. Oh my god. It's not the first. There we go. Why does
I
everybody
just
get over
want
here?
to get your
news.
reaction on Sunday when you heard.
Well, when I woke up on Sunday, I was heartbroken to hear the news that there was a mass shooting in my hometown in a bar, a club that I frequent when I'm home, Club Q, and that five people had been murdered and wounded. My heart, I knew it was stemming from hate of people who are just like me, who are LGBTQ, who love who we love, who present the way that we present, and that we were targeted and murdered simply for being ourselves.
Talk to me a little bit about Club Q. As you just said, it's a place that you frequent. It's a place where you feel safe, feel at home. What does the attack mean?
It's a place where we can celebrate with each other. You know, when I go home to Colorado Springs, which is only an hour from Denver, I'll seek a little bit of solace and to hang out and laugh. Folks just like there, and just be in community and just have everyday normal conversations like anyone else does.
You know, family, we got
But a
gay
place
clubs
where we
all
can
over.
feel safe, and that's been ripped away from many in Colorado Springs. It breaks my heart.
The shooter was preliminarily charged with 5 counts of murder and 5 counts of committing a hate crime. Now, we were just told by the district attorney that there will likely be more charges. But talk a little bit about the charges and, more broadly speaking, how concerned you are about this increase in hate crimes and crimes against the LGBTQ community.
Yeah, well, it's clear to me, and I think to anyone who woke up on Sunday morning to the news and anyone who was there that tragic evening at Club Q, that this is a hate crime, 100%. The folks had been targeted because of who we are. And it's very, very clear that the rhetoric around being sexual, lesbian, transgender is dehumanizing, right? It's dehumanizing. And that there's elected leaders, there's religious leaders across Colorado and across this country that make it okay to say that a transgender youth, should be bullied or shouldn't be supported. And that any parent or person that is gender conforming, like gender supportive, right?
I don't even know what that is.
Could possibly go to jail. In Colorado, we have seen multiple pieces of legislation that discriminates, especially against our transgender youth and adults. We just passed a law a couple years back that said you can no longer harm someone and use the gay panic defense, which was on the books and is still on the books in many states, saying that, oh, you found out someone was gay, you panicked and you harmed them. That was a defense that people were able to use in Colorado up until a couple years ago. It's off the books now, but I got to tell you, the feeling that it is okay to harm someone because they're gay or because they're gender nonconforming, that is very real in our state, and it's very real across the country. And it's being spurred upon by these leaders, a lot of political leaders.
Where's the black crime bills and all this protections? Like, do you got panic, gay panic? What? I can't say it right now, family. But you see, this is all she's talking about, right? And this is Sister Ray. She put everything before, obviously, race.
Who are saying that this is acceptable speech.
Well, to that point, I just want to go back to something I said at the top, which is 25 laws have passed this year that are anti-LGBTQ. What can you do specifically in your state as a state representative? What are you working toward to try to prevent this from happening, to try to deal with this increase in hate crimes and rhetoric against the LGBTQ community?
Absolutely. In Colorado, it's very interesting, right? Because we are lucky to have passed many of those laws that many states don't have. We actually started as the hate state, a state that said it was okay with Amendment 2, that it was okay to discriminate against LGBTQ people because of who they are in workplace, in public accommodations, in schools. And we've erased that. We've erased that history. We've erased that legacy. We have said are supportive of LGBTQ people. We've included it in hate crimes. We affirmed things that we had hoped would represent progress. And we even support anti-bullying legislation for transgender youth. But still, at the same time, we see an increase in the amount of hate that's targeted at our communities. It is on me that this shooting happened in Colorado Springs, my hometown, but also the hometown of Focus on the Family, a religious organization that targets LGBTQ people. It is not lost on me that just yesterday, right as we were hearing about the shooting, the libs of TikTok, a right-wing account on Twitter, targeted myself and my transgender colleague, Brianna Tatone, simply for supporting LGBTQ youth, a youth group called Dragutant. It is not lost on me that even though we, as Democrats, continue to fight back in the Colorado State Legislature against anti-LGBTQ bills, that rhetoric, that language, the fact that those bills are still being brought every single day has an impact.
Well, we so appreciate your perspective, and I offer my condolences to you as well. I know that this is a day of mourning for you and the entire community, not just in Colorado Springs and Denver, but the LGBTQ community as well. Thank you.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today.
Too much, man. I can't. It's like she was serious too. That day, when everybody, when all that stuff happened, I just kind of haven't talked about it in a couple days, like about a week or two. Her and everybody decided they want to get on. Condolences, blah, 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 blah. And I was sitting there like, man, me and Jesse are like, I'm like, man, well, what can we say? Like, what do we say? Except, nothing, because they already said that we're this, we're that. So like, but nothing we say is really gonna be is really going to be helpful because it's another leapfrog over everything we've been working on. You know what I mean? And this lady is not like, she's not black first or anything like that. She really isn't. So, it's always the first, what did that lady say? The first black LGBTQ black, I don't know what she said. But it wasn't like she said, oh, might say black woman, et cetera, but it came with the caveat of the sexual preference or whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna go ahead and call it a preference. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it preference. Says what you're identifying as. Regardless, everybody needs a mayor. So, I was just like, man, like, I was hoping that she had something, something good to talk about. But at that time, we were watching, everybody, make their heartfelt thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers. And I was like, well, what? Might as well just sit back and watch that happen. And then everything took a grand gesture of solidarity with those that identify differently from us. The Capitol lit up in the colors all over the place, flags. And then you got people getting online talking about they were crucifying anybody who made any sort of comment in the past, and that they wanted this and they wanted that. And I was like, oh my God. You're like, they wanted. You know what I mean? Let's see if I can find that one. Because they wanted this, they wanted that. They wanted all kinds of bills and they had demands. I was like, damn, man, like, what about the rest of the demands? What about everybody else's demands? You know what I mean? Let's see what's on oh, you hear that? That's outside. Just getting it in out there. News conference Friday, okay. Let's see. Yeah, they had all kind of comments. They were like, we want this, we want that. We need this. Makes sense. And then it was like, there was all, oh my God. But it was another leapfrog. At the time, it was a leapfrog moment. It was a leapfrog situation because it has pushed everything that we were working on. It pushed everything back. Let's see. Let me see. Let's see if this might be it. Yeah, they were making all kinds.
We'd like to bring in now Democrat John. He's there now. Also a former Denver and governor of the state of Colorado. Senator, thanks very much. And I want to ask you about you were on Twitter last night on Transgender Day of Remembrance. Basically, is what it was, and you wrote and I'm just going to quote it. This community is paying with their lives for the rise in hate and bigotry. Even in a safe space like Club Q, we have to do more than remember victims. You say, giving people freedom to be who they are, love who they love, and live full lives. So I just wonder, is there a role? First, you're in the Congress right now, because we think of it as Congress doesn't get a lot done, but in recent months and years, it seems to have been able to get after some big issues. Is there a federal role here?
Yeah, I think there is. I mean, it's such a tragedy that this is in any way political. And this is one of those issues where our country has to come together, Republicans and Democrats, and recognize that we are terrorizing ourselves. Our worst rivals, our worst enemies, Russia, China, couldn't do a better job of demoralizing us than to have mass shootings in places of celebration, places of worship, places of communion. It is so frustrating that we still make this into a political discussion. And, it will way past when we should stop politicizing it, and we should come together and look at, all right, do we need more laws? How do we make fair, protect people's, their civil rights? How do we make sure that, guns don't end up in the hands of dangerous individuals?
That's a great point, that it does seem like after every shooting, first, of course, to political points. In the tweet, I want to read it again. This community is paying with their lives for the rise in hate and bigotry. Who do you hold responsible for this attack, Senator?
Well, I hold us all responsible. Obviously, you can point fingers. That's not the way you solve problems. There is a lot of hate speech and a lot of bigotry everywhere now, and people who disagree with how others choose to love, or who they choose to love, or who they want to marry. I mean, love is love is love. That's the mantra that I thought we had all agreed to as a country, and that there were isolated remnants that hung on to their hate-filled, twisted vision of what America is, and they wanted to try and somehow restore traditional values. That hate speech only causes pain and suffering for innocent people and their families. Who in this country doesn't have family members that are part of the LGBTQ community?
And I want to ask about since you're governor of the state, there is a law on the books in Colorado, a red flag law. It seems at this early stage of what we know to have failed here at some juncture in its enforcement.
Right.
Is the red flag law enough?
It only has to do with guns.
Have any sense as to why it wasn't working, it wasn't activated here, given that this man, this suspect, was arrested for making bomb threats and an alleged attempted kidnapping of his mother, someone you think should have a legal right to an AR-15?
You're exactly right. And we're going to analyze exactly what happened and what changes, if any, we need to make to the red flag laws, how that intersects with our purchase laws, and making sure that people are, don't have a red flag on them when they're buying an AR-15. I think that crucial to this, though, is, again, we as a country have to come together and agree we're going to address this. And it doesn't have to involve taking away guns, or some people view as their Second Amendment rights. It really is about us saying, listen, we've had, over 600 mass shootings this year, where at least 4 people were shot. That unacceptable. It's unique to the United States. Other countries have mental health issues, but they aren't always turning to pistols and rifles to carry out their fantasies. We have to address, here's where America is, and that's not what any of us want. How do we move?
There's nothing to protect us.
We're having a little trouble there. So we will say goodbye, and thank you very much to Senator John Hickenlooper for joining us on this story. Thanks very much as a leader in that state. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.
And then also, I say look for folks who are
there's no, I don't want to hear this. This brother's just talking out her ass, but there's no laws to protect Black people here. They have laws to protect everybody else. So, I like literally look. I'm gonna go to the other page real quick. I just had to point that out because that was crucial. I just typed that into the thing. Labor laws. Mistake is stick for gun. Caught on video. Arrested attempt to blah. Police shoot. Black man with hands that caught on tape. See? Viral video. Nothing. I mean, I'm already late. Look, I'm already all the way down here. And nothing. Okay, let's just back this truck up a little bit. GBTQ. See, look. Following tried warrant threats, but Supreme Court follow federal law protects the workers from discrimination. What's going on? That they're gonna protect the protection has impact in Colorado. Civil rights law protection for them to be workers. Job discrimination. Absorb hate at First of all, found in Colorado tries to separate entities. Tier of LGBT explained. Yeah, they yeah.
Colorado's biggest Pride event kicked off this morning in downtown Denver, and while attendees
It's not like I'm making it up.
there is a threat of growing violence hanging over the LGBTQ community. In addition to law enforcement, there are some groups committed to shielding Pride attendees from all the hate. Michael Abeda, Consensus Group today, and Michael, they have a non-violent response to that hate.
Yeah, Kelly, they don't want to brawl or cause trouble. They just want to absorb some of that hate so that way others don't have to.
Our next event coming up is July 1st.
Usually at LGBTQ events like Denver's Pride celebration, Eli Bazan is working. He's one of the co-founders of the Parasol Patrol, a group of volunteers that tries to separate event attendees from protesters.
What we do is we use our rainbow umbrellas as shields to block the signs and faces of protesters. We use our hearing protection for our little ones.
Absorbing the heckling and name calling so that kids and parents don't have to.
Quite honestly, some of the stuff they yell at these kids is pretty traumatic. You expose your children to this filth. Sexual predators.
But despite what they may hear, the Parasol Patrol doesn't start trouble.
We don't engage with them at all. I'm not there to yell back. I'm not going to change their mind. They're not going to change my mind.
Which could be getting even tougher to do. Eli says he follows extremists online to see what's planning to show up. Recently, he's seen an in
the last months has been last 3 years.
He says, take for example, the extremists recently caught readying themselves to disrupt a Pride event in Idaho. The Parasol Patrol says they've seen threats made towards Denver's events as well.
And there will be protests.
I just want to know what happened to everybody when the white supremacists were outside of Juneteenth talking about White Lives Matter. Just want to talk about that for a second.
Tomorrow in the parade, there will be protesters.
And while the Parasol Patrol aims to protect, they aren't vigilantes.
These aren't ballistic shields. They don't stop bullets.
They're just umbrellas.
They report fire so everyone can feel loved.
It helps them understand that they're not alone. There are people just like them, that they are loved because of who they are, not in spite of who they are.
Now, the Parasol Patrol started here in Colorado, but it has grown nationwide. They have chapters all over the country, and they do on having a presence at the Pride Parade tomorrow in Denver and at other events around the state. In Denver, covering Colorado first.
Michael, thank you. Now, the Pride Parade is set for tomorrow morning. It stretches 14 blocks from Cheeseman Park down Colfax Avenue to Civic Center Park. So be ready for some crowds and definitely extra traffic if you venture out during the parade.
Right. See? This is going on right. This is like, not even go 2 years. This is like crazy. We just had Juneteenth. It hasn't been 2 years. So like literally 1 year, right? This wait till I find the one that, so this is like this Juneteenth. But I gotta find the footage for ours in Denver.
And now 5 tense conference at Huntington Beach. Anti-racism programming off with supporters of a planned White Lives Matter rally. Hundreds of
Juneteenth, right? This is what they were doing at Juneteenth. Let's see. It's like right when you want to look for some shit, right? Yeah, that's man.
DC gunfire, and this morning is still at large. Mary Alice Parks has the latest from DC. Good morning, Mary Alice.
Michael, good morning. It was one of those summer nights where everyone was out and about trying to enjoy the weather. And then all of a sudden, police rushing in from every direction to this area that was just packed with people.
Overnight chaos and panic in the streets of D.C. after gunfire erupted at a packed Juneteenth concert and festival. Police say the unauthorized event was being shut down after a series of fights and issues with the massive crowd.
No, that is straight up gunshot.
And then around 8:30 p.m., a gunman opening fire, killing a teenager police say was 15 years old and injuring 3 others, including a D.C. police officer.
With guns involved and with our police managing a crowd, on site, somebody used a gun and a child is dead.
Witnesses reporting as medics and police rush to aid the wounded and terrified concertgoers flee for safety. Other people injured as a result of their legs and ankles being trampled while trying to leave the area. Officials say multiple guns were recovered in the aftermath, but the weapon used by the suspect is nowhere to be found this morning.
All it takes is one person introducing a gun to the situation that makes it deadly. In this case, we need to make sure that individuals are held accountable for their actions.
Now, D.C. confirming to us that the teenager who died was just 15 years old. The police officer was shot in the leg. He's in stable condition. These are the other 2 victims. Robin.
So tragic. Mary Alice, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel.
Like,
if you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here.
Everywhere. There was all kinds of
breaking news overnight.
Media.
The teen is dead. Another 3 people injured, including a police officer, after shooting in Chicago. Capitol in Washington, D.C. That incident, it actually took place near a concert celebrating the Juneteenth holiday yesterday. We have Gio Insignares in the newsroom this morning with more details on this, Gio.
Well, JC, Eric, right now, what we know so far is that this was in Washington, D.C. You see the response there right now, or rather, this happened over the weekend. 15 dead, 3 others injured, including a police officer. Now, according to officials in the area, this was an unauthorized event, something that wasn't properly prepared for, according to the D.C. mayor.
See? Oh, well. Okay, wait. Let's see. Let's look for it real quick. There's protesters everywhere, like in all the little cities that had big.
Today is Juneteenth, actually, for the city's festival, as a few better than ever before.
Joe, organizers say this is one of the largest Juneteenth celebrations in the country. You can see the large crowds behind me. They say everything from the location to the vendors is an expression of Black culture. The festival kicked off this morning with a parade down North 52nd Street. It featured floats, bands, and more before ending here at Malcolm X Park. Juneteenth is the oldest celebration commemorating the ending of slavery in the United States.
Also at Malcolm X Park, a group celebrated with great food. Everybody Eats put on the cookout. They're a team of Black chefs leading the fight against food insecurity. They partnered with a food distribution company to make it happen. The cookout and Black a chance for people to connect socially and have meaningful conversations on how to better their community.
Yeah. There was I just want to see where the protesters were. They were out there though. I was like, man, I was talking about it on one of our shows.
This weekend marks Juneteenth, the holiday commemorating the freedom of enslaved Americans. We saw celebrations across the metro today, including a parade in downtown Atlanta.
They had protesting. They're like right there in our own city, man. These they were like maybe 5 or 6 protesters right outside, and then windows got broken. And especially our city was kind of like everywhere is all fenced off. I mean, just like that. So I mean, it's talking about protections and all these
Today is
protests
Juneteenth, and 2022 marks the 6th year for the city's Juneteenth festival.
Yeah, so I was like, man, this is crazy. It's fucking crazy. And everywhere we go, man, there's something else happening, in the city. But like with these candidates, man, they're focused on whatever they're focused on. And a lot of them, like right now, they're out there raising money and doing all kinds of shit. Whereas it's about to get cold right now. It's 27 degrees outside. 27 fucking degrees. I was just outside. I was just fucking outside. So I know that it's gonna get extremely cold. It was cold when I was on my way back. It was cold when I was on my way back. I want to see if there's anything else that we could like touch base on for right now, because I have other stuff I want to talk about. And real quick, man, let's celebrate our boy getting released. Let me go up to news real quick. I can't say it right now. He got released too. Let me see real quick. Find it. Okay. Bam. Okay, real quick. And then I'm about to just end it right now, so I can focus on creating a better one tomorrow. Yep, wind chill. My computer says wind chill. Big old caution sign. Let's see. Okay, let's see. One more and then we're done. Let's see. Share screen. Nothing wants to work, huh? It's like my computer decided to want to freeze up. That's how cold it is. It's been acting like this since Oh my god. We shall wait. Okay. Moving along real fast. I'm just waiting for my computer. There we go.
What could be his last chance for a newly discovered evidence that casts doubt on his 1982 conviction for the murder of police officer Daniel Faulkner. Mumia Abu-Jamal's lawyers say evidence in boxes discovered in the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office by the new DA at the time, Larry Krasner, in 2019, show his trial was tainted by judicial bias and police and prosecutorial misconduct, like withholding of evidence and bribing or coercing witnesses to lie. Evidence in the boxes included notes from one of two key witnesses to prosecutors requesting, quote, the money owed to me. Well, on Tuesday, a United Nations working group submitted an amicus brief urging the judge to grant Mumia Abu-Jamal a new trial to consider the evidence, and also cited evidence of racial bias in the case. Quoting the statement by Mumia Abu-Jamal's original trial judge, Albert Sabo, overheard by a court stenographer when he said, quote, I'm going to help them, the jury, fry that N-word, but he used the word. Last month, Philadelphia Common Pleas Court Judge Lucretia Clemens indicated she intends to dismiss Abu-Jamal's request for a new trial, but said she would announce her final decision this Friday, December 16th. Judge Clemens is a member of the Archdiocese of Philadelphia and healing. She spoke last year in a video by Catholic Philly about how Catholics can address racial division by seeking the truth and reconciliation.
I think one of the most important things to focus on is truth and reconciliation. A familiar cry in the street during the social justice protests are, no justice, no peace. And while I know that many people want peace, they really want quiet. Quiet is not the same as peace. Peace requires justice, and justice requires truth. And therefore, I believe that we start this with some truth and reconciliation, with some understanding of where we have come from, the historical implications of that, how it is impacting people today, and how do we reconcile that history with where we are and where we want to go.
That's Philadelphia County Court of Common Pleas Judge Lucretia Clemens, who will issue a decision on Mumia Abu-Jamal's case Friday. For more on this closely watched case, we're joined by another trial court judge, a prominent voice calling for a new trial and the release of Mumia Abu-Jamal. That's Judge Wendell Griffin, judge of the 6th Judicial Circuit of Arkansas, 5th Division. He spent more than 10 years as a judge on the State Court of Appeals. He's retiring this month after almost a quarter of a century on the bench, in a career that's included speaking out against the death penalty as well as the war in Iraq. Judge Griffin is also the pastor of New Millennium Church and author of The Fierce Urgency of Prophetic Hope. Judge Griffin, welcome back to Democracy Now! You wrote an essay last month headlined Finding Justice for Both Maureen Faulkner and Mumia Abu-Jamal, referring to the widow of the slain Philadelphia police officer Daniel Faulkner. Can you talk about that and why you are calling for the release of Mumia Abu-Jamal in this critical week where it could be the last chance he has for a new trial?
Thank you, Amy. It's good to talk with you again. Mumia Abu-Jamal is a Black American political activist and journalist, as you know, who has been incarcerated since he was convicted in 1982 and sentenced to death for the 1981 murder of Daniel Faulkner, a Philadelphia, Pennsylvania police officer. His 1982 death sentence was overturned by a federal judge in 2001 due to sentencing irregularities. At that time, the question was, why wasn't the whole conviction overturned? But in 2019, the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office disclosed for the first time that there were 6 boxes of materials that had been concealed and not delivered to the defense team before Mumia was tried. Under a 1963 decision that every law student knows about and every lawyer knows about who does criminal law practice, Brady versus Maryland, the Supreme Court of the United States held that due process of law is violated when the prosecution conceals evidence relevant to guilt or punishment from defense. In this country, though, that kind of precedent should have required Mumia to be released and the state, or the Commonwealth in this case, decide whether or not to prosecute him based upon having revealed the right evidence. That hasn't been done. And so the question is, why is Mumia Abu-Jamal not being given, as another federal judge has said, the benefit of the precedents in 1963, this is 60 years, that he should be getting, because the state or the Commonwealth attorneys violated his due process laws. He had a pretense of a trial. And that's what the Supreme Court of the United States said earlier than that in 1935, in an earlier case. So we have to ask ourselves the question, why is this journalist, why is this Black activist not free? And why is it so hard for a judge to say, hey, we've got the law that requires him to be free. I'm going to follow the law and declare him free. And if the Commonwealth wants to retry him, they can do so. If the Commonwealth decides we can't retry him because the evidence is no longer there, people have passed away, witnesses have forgotten information, then that is not Mumia's fault. That is the fault of prosecutors, and Mumia should not be imprisoned because A, he had a pretense of a trial in the first place, and B, because for some reasons, bloodlust or the desire to keep a Black activist journalist in prison means that we don't want to do what's right.
If you could talk specifically as a judge around the law, when it comes to, for example, finding a handwritten note in this evidence box that was just found in the offices of now the DA, Larry Krasner, one of the two key witnesses requesting the money you owed me, writing that to the prosecution. And then, of course, the well-known comment of the judge himself. I mean, human rights groups have decried the racism in the original trial. But Judge Sabo being heard by the court stenographer saying, I'm going to help them, referring to the jury, I'm going to help them fry that N-word, but he used the word. This is the judge.
He used the N-I-G-G-E word. It was heard by the stenographer. That would have and should have been sufficient to disqualify that judge, point blank. Beyond that, there was proof that there were peremptory challenges that were exercised by the prosecution based upon racist inclinations, which violates the Supreme Court decision in Batson versus Kentucky. That should have been enough to disqualify the trial. But then you referred to this note that was found where a witness for the prosecution that allegedly fingered Mumia writes the prosecutor wants to know, where's my money? Now, if you're a defense lawyer, that's powerful information because it indicates that this witness has been bribed or has an incentive to lie. That's a reason to disqualify, or that's a reason to overturn the conviction in and of itself. This is the kind of due process violation that any law student would recognize on a criminal law or constitutional law exam. So this is not hard stuff. This is not hard stuff for any trial judge. And so the issue is not whether or not this is a tough legal question. The issue is whether or not a judge, in this case, Judge Clemens, has the strength, the courage, the compassion, and the commitment to follow the law, to do what the law requires, which is basically declare the man who have had a pretense of a trial, declare him free, and tell the Commonwealth, if you want to try him again, have at it. But you can't keep him in prison because you simply messed up and don't want to confess it.
The daughter of the novelist, the famous novelist Richard Wright, Julia Wright, wrote a letter to the Philadelphia Common Pleas Court Judge Lucretia Clemens this week. In part, it read, who carry such intergenerational trauma and the gift of wounded healers, in the words of the late Archbishop Tutu, who called for Mumia in 2011 on behalf of peace and reconciliation. I trust you will judge righteously, she said. Julia Wright is so interesting in that she was recently involved with the case in Elaine, Arkansas, of 5 Black men who were tried and convicted of murder in less than 30 minutes in a mob rule trial. It was 1919 in your state of Arkansas. You talk about what you see as the parallels.
You referred to the landmark case of Moore, M-O-O-R-E, versus Dempsey, capital D-E-M-P-S-E-Y, a 1923 case where the Supreme Court of the United States, Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes wrote, the majority opinion wrote, that where there has been a mob-dominated trial, it violates due process. And in that case, again, the Supreme Court invalidated the murder convictions, the first-degree murder convictions of 5 Black men who were sentenced to death. And that, again, is precedent. That is, again, a connection. And Julia Wright, bless her heart, has connected the dots between the Elaine Race Massacre, the massacre of Black people in Southeast Arkansas by white vigilantes and by federal troops, by the way, and the incarceration and the refusal to release Mumia Abu-Jamal. Mumia Abu-Jamal is now in prison because, and let's be clear, because of bloodlust. There is the notion that a police officer was murdered. Daniel Faulkner was murdered. And the prosecution messed up. The investigation messed up. And Mumia Abu-Jamal was wrongfully prosecuted, wrongfully convicted, wrongfully sentenced, and is now wrongfully incarcerated. But our bloodlust prevents us from acknowledging that. And I understand that as a state court trial judge who has tried murder cases, I understand that the pain of victims, I understand the desire of colleagues to get revenge. However, justice is never about revenge. We do not allow victims or the friends or partners of the murdered to decide what justice is. Justice is doing right, not getting revenge. And we need to understand the difference between the two.
Judge Wendell Griffin, there's so much more to talk about. Judge Griffin wrote the essay, Finding Justice for both Maureen Faulkner and Mumia Abu-Jamal, referring to the widow of the slain Philadelphia police officer, Daniel Faulkner. We will link to your piece, and we will also do a part 2 conversation with you as you come to the end of your judicial career. You'll be retiring at the end of December after 24 years on the bench. You are also the pastor of the New Millennium Church and author of The Fierce Urgency of Prophetic Hope. In part 2 of our conversation, we're going to talk about your illustrious career on the bench. People should check it out at democracynow.org. That does it for our show. Democracy Now! Produced with Renee Feltz, Mike Berkey, Naguzder, Messiah Rhodes, Nermeen Sheikh, Meredith Sarina. I'm Amy Goodman.
Sorry, I had it muted. Thanks for watching the Revolutionary Agenda. I will be back here in a little while, a couple hours or so, because of stuff I need to eat. I need to get myself together. But I'll be back with a better plan. But I'm not so rushed. There's some other stuff we should talk about, and perhaps I will find that article. So thanks for watching the Revolutionary Agenda. It was fun, and I will see you here hopefully in a couple hours. Thanks. Peace.